A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Country Road, starring Howard Duff and Ida Lupino. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Oh, come on, get with it.
Relax, David. We're not going to move any faster, so relax.
Who can relax in a traffic jam like this? Bumper to bumper at 20 miles an hour. Must be a wreck or something up ahead.
This keeps up, we'll get caught in the rain.
Yeah. It's like a big storm building up. Hey, remember that shortcut?
Which one?
The little country road that goes across through Center Mauritius and comes out on the highway on the other side of the island?
Oh, yes, you mean the one we took last summer?
Yeah, I'll turn off there and duck this jam. I'll be at home before that storm hits. Turn on the radio, will you, honey?
Mm-hmm.
See if you get the news. Huh?
Police this afternoon issued 2 warnings to all residents of Long Island to be on the lookout for Nellie Garler, a middle-aged woman described as dangerous and insane.
What's that?
She escaped this morning from Restview Mental Hospital after fatally butchering a doctor, a nurse, and a ward attendant with a meat cleaver.
My mother-in-law.
Just a few minutes ago, the decapitated bodies of an elderly man and woman were found by police near Center Mauritius on Long Island.
Well, at least we're not the only crazy people on Long
warned
Island.
not to open their doors to strangers. Motorists are cautioned to stay off lonely roads and not pick up any hitchhikers. All persons are asked to be on the lookout for this woman. Here is her description again. She is tall, gray-haired, has broad shoulders and long arms. She is believed to be armed with a meat cleaver, which she used in her escape from Restview Mental Hospital.
Turn that off, Dorothy, will you?
She will be...
But you wanted to hear it.
Oh, that's enough of that. The shortcut will save us a lot of time.
David, didn't you hear what the radio said about staying off lonely roads?
Well, honey, we just have to go across to the other highway. Won't take long.
Are you sure?
Of course. We go past Center Mauritius, then take the left road and come out right by the highway bridge.
Center Mauritius is where she just killed those 2 people.
Oh, come on, honey. You're acting like a child. What can happen to us while we're driving? Besides, the whole island is full of men looking for this lunatic. They'll catch her. Well, here comes the storm.
David.
What?
The gas gauge says empty.
Oh, there's still a couple of gallons left and it points to empty.
How long has it said empty?
That I don't know. I'll get gas when we get across to the other highway.
Darling, I'm scared.
Relax, honey. Honey, rain and wind always makes you jumpy as a cat.
I wish we'd stayed on the highway.
If I'd known you'd act like this, I would have.
Oh, it's not my fault.
Well, honey, it's not mine either. I'm having trouble enough just trying to see through this storm.
Oh, darling, what are we fighting
Oh,
about?
I don't know, son. Driving through these woods in this kind of weather is enough to give anybody the willies.
It got dark so fast. I can hardly see, even in the headlights.
There's something ahead.
Well, don't stop, David.
Oh, it's only a sign.
But that crazy woman could be around here.
I'm not picking up anyone. I just want to know where I am.
Please don't get out of the car.
I'm not. Now, calm down. Center Mauritius to the right. We'll take this road here.
Center Mauritius. But this must be the road where she killed those people.
Dorothy, please.
I'm sorry. I'm jumpy. Oh, David, that woman, she could be anywhere in these woods.
But not necessarily where we are. Oh, Phil. Wouldn't you know? Come on. Well, that's that.
Are we out of gas?
Yeah.
Oh, no. You mean we're stuck here?
For the time being, anyway.
That woman is in these woods. She'll kill us.
Now, she's nowhere near us. Calm down.
David, quick, turn off your headlights.
Why? Did you see something?
I don't know. I'm scared.
Should have gotten gas back on the main road.
Oh, turn off the lights, please.
Why?
She'll see us if you don't.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
Please, David, turn them off.
Listen, Dorothy.
Darling, look at those headlights poking into the darkness at all the wet bushes and trees. Please, David, turn them off.
Okay, all right. There. Now they're off. Feel better sitting in the dark?
Yes, if only the thunder and lightning would stop in this rain.
Dorothy, I'm going to walk up the road a bit. Maybe I can find a house and...
You're not going to leave me here. I won't let you go.
Dorothy, we can't sit here in the middle of nowhere for the rest of the night.
But we're safer here than out there. Darling, she's probably hiding out there, just waiting for a chance to kill us.
Oh, come on, Dorothy. Why should you be right where we've run out of gas?
Quick, lock the doors from the inside.
What?
Lock them so that crazy woman can't get in here.
She's nowhere near here, I tell you.
You don't get mad at me. I know I'm being silly, but I can't help it.
Come here. Put my arm around you.
Darling.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Please forgive me.
Sure. I'll forgive you.
Would you turn on the radio? Maybe they've caught her.
Okay.
Pressing their search for the escaped insane woman who has killed 5 persons since fleeing from a Long Island mental hospital. Rain and darkness are hampering the search. Over 100 police are combing the wooded area.
Turn it off.
All right. Now, look, Dorothy. We can't sit here all night. I'll run up the road. There might be a house.
Oh, no, David, please don't leave me. Listen. Do you hear that?
What? I don't hear anything.
Listen. There it is.
I don't... It's a dog. Just a little dog barking.
Oh, David.
Maybe it's lost, or maybe there's a house nearby.
Oh, that woman. David! She's out there.
Something hit the back of the car.
It's her. She'll kill us.
Is the door locked on your side?
Yes, but what if she breaks the window? She has the key.
That flash of lightning, I saw somebody.
Is that her?
Can't tell. It's lying on the road.
Can you see her? Is he still there?
It's too dark to see. Have to wait for the lightning. There she is. She's getting up now.
She'll kill us. She'll kill us, David.
Calm down. Please.
Oh, what is she doing?
I don't know. She must have been running. She didn't see the car. She ran right into it.
Look at the window, David, right next to you.
Good Lord. Look at her. Get away from that window. Dorothy, stop, please.
She'll kill us, David. The window. She broke the window.
Get away from there. Stay out of the car.
I'm coming in. I can't stand it out here.
Stay out of the car. I warn you. I've got a gun.
You wouldn't shoot me. Go away, you hear? You're crazy. We know all about you. I'm not the crazy woman. Listen to me, please. My car's stuck in the ditch back there.
How far back?
I don't know. It seems like miles. I heard about the crazy woman on the radio. I was afraid to stay in the car alone. Let me in, please. No, don't, David.
Go back to your own car.
I can't. It's so dark and so lonely. And this storm. I locked the doors, but I was afraid. I could see things and hear things in the darkness. I couldn't stand it anymore. I got out and I ran. It's the rain. That's why I look like this. I'm not the crazy woman. Oh, for the love of heaven, let me in, please. Let me in. No, David, don't let her in. The crazy woman had a cleaver. I'm not armed. Listen, the three of us would be safer together.
I don't know. What do you think, Dorothy?
I don't know. Let me in, please. I'm wet to the skin.
All right. Get in.
Oh, thank you.
You make one move, and I'll shoot you.
Oh, it's so good to sit down.
There's a blanket on the floor back there. You can dry yourself off with it.
In the darkness. And it rained. That was enough to drive me out of my mind.
Just take it easy. Do you live near here?
I live farther out, near Rescue. Rescue is the mental hospital. I know. I'm used to the crazy people, but not at night in a lonely place like this. Not the kind who kill people.
You live at Rescue?
No, I live just near there. David, we can't sit here not knowing. We could just get to a phone. A phone? Why? Call the police. Get some help. No. No, don't do that.
Why not? Why don't you want the police?
Oh, I do. But you'll be killed. What do you mean? That woman. She'll kill him if he goes away from this car. David, listen. There's that dog again. Do you hear? Somebody's out there.
Might be a house nearby. He's barking to be let in.
It senses somebody. There's somebody out there. That's why he's barking. That woman's out there. Quick! Let's get away before we're caught. David, look out.
Let go of me. What are you trying to do?
Start the car. Quick, we'll get away.
We're out of gas.
Out of gas? But we just can't sit there. We've got to get away.
I'm not a magician, lady. I can't make gasoline out of rain.
We can't stay here all night. You hear me?
Now, let go of me. There's nothing I can do.
Try something, anything. Don't just sit there. She scares me, David. Stop her.
Cut it out. You'll have us all in hysterics.
All right. All right, I'm sorry. Ella, look. I've got an idea. Give me your gun.
What?
Give it to me. What's the matter with you? Can't sit here all night. I'll go crazy. Give me the gun. I'll go for help. I won't be afraid in the dark with the gun.
No. Sit back. Go on.
I'll go right now. Just give me the gun. We don't have a gun. It's only a pipe.
Dorothy.
A pipe. A smoking pipe? Oh, David, I'm sorry. Then you're unarmed. I'm sorry, David.
It's all right.
Why did you tell me you had a gun?
Why does it make a difference to you whether I'm armed or not?
I don't know you. Maybe you two are more dangerous than the crazy woman. I'll tell you what I think. I think you're the crazy woman. The way you grabbed David when you wanted him to start the car.
Dorothy, stop it. Don't excite her.
Don't excite me. Why? What can I do? Just an old woman you took into your car. Two of you, and you're afraid of me.
We're not afraid of you. Now sit back in the seat and don't try anything. And remember that I'm watching you all the time.
David, the storm's dying now. Moon's coming out. Maybe now's the time. The time for what? What are you going to do? You two are up to something.
My wife meant that now is the time to go for help.
No, I didn't. I meant now's the time for us to escape. David, can't you see it? She's the one. She'll kill us.
Stop it. Sit back in that seat.
You haven't got a gun.
No, but I've got a knife.
David?
It's my pocket knife, but it's sharp. Now, don't you try any tricks.
All right, threaten me. Watch me while that woman is out there. Oh, you'll make me sick. All you can do is sit and wait for her to make the next move. She'll kill us, David, like she did that old man and woman. It must have been on the same road. They were in their car, too. They must have let her in. Oh, stop it. We'll leave then. The three of us. We'll walk. We'll stay close together. See, we'll be quiet. Anyone hiding in the woods won't hear us. Don't get out of the car, David. We'll be killed.
Easy, dear. How would we find our way? It's too dark.
We'll find our way.
Look out there. Road's full of shadows.
Get her out of the car, David. I tell you, she wants to kill us. Kill her.
If you want to go, why don't you leave? You don't need us. We're willing to stay here until help comes.
I'd be helpless alone. If I had a gun or something. Your knife. Why doesn't somebody come? Where are the police? I can't stand this. Nobody'll come. There's no one in these woods. No one but us. David, in her hand. I saw it in the moonlight. It glittered.
What?
Your wife is hysterical. Now she was holding it. A long piece of broken glass, long and pointed. She's the crazy woman. You think I'm going to sit here defenseless? David, she's going to attack us. Don't be silly. It's all right for you to have a knife. Why can't I protect myself?
Give me that piece of glass.
I will not. You couldn't protect us from anything.
Give me that piece of glass.
I won't.
I warn you, give it to me.
You wait for me.
Once I'd left the car, car, you were going to stab my wife with a broken glass. Give me that glass.
You're crazy.
Give it to me.
Leave me alone. Hold it, David. Hold her. Don't let her bring me.
She's wrong. She's got my arm.
Kill me.
Drop that glass.
She dropped it, David. Have you both gone crazy? Trying to kill me?
Like you were going to murder us.
I wasn't. Don't let her get free.
I can't hold him much longer. She's strong.
If you haven't the knife, then I'll hold her, David. Hold her.
I can't. Not much longer.
I'm not crazy. I'm not.
My throat. Choking me.
Your knife, David. Your knife. You killed her. David, you killed her.
She was choking me.
Darling, you're covered with blood.
She's going to kill us. Listen. Car's coming. It's all right, darling. Help's coming.
Hey there, you in the car. What are you doing parked here?
It's the police at last.
Well, you see, officer, we ran out of gas.
Nice to run out of gas. What a spot with that woman running around loose.
Officer, we want to tell you.
Farmer up the road called us, said his dog's been barking at something.
We caught her.
Who'd you catch?
The crazy woman. She's in the back seat. Dead.
Huh? No, she's still alive. Badly hurt, though.
She was trying to kill us.
Well, we'll get her to the hospital. You come with me. Lucky you didn't kill her. We captured that crazy woman a half hour ago. I don't know who this lady is.
Suspense. Suspense. And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
If people were truly moral, there would be no need for moral precepts. We are carefully taught and constantly reminded of how we should act. And the reason for this must be that man is fundamentally bad. In any case, all too often, kindness is not repaid in kind. The golden rule is broken, and the hand that feeds gets bitten. Of such ingratitude is our story concerned. A story which should at least serve as a warning to those ladies who stubbornly insist on letting their hair grow as nature intended it to. Listen then as Frank Lovejoy stars in Friend of Daddy's, which begins in just a minute.
Oh. Joseph.
What?
Who is she?
Who's who?
Who were you dreaming about?
Was I dreaming?
You were talking in your sleep and giggling.
How about that?
What were you giggling about?
I can't remember.
Joseph, you mentioned a girl's name.
Oh? What name?
Spot.
Spars?
Yes, Spot. Candy Spot. It sounded like a dancer or a striptease or something.
Oh.
Oh, what?
Well, I must have said Candy Spots. Candy Spots is a horse. I bet on him once.
You bet on a horse?
Yeah, we had a pool. I could have won $3.
Well, you should have put the money into savings bonds. They're a much better investment.
It was only 50 cents.
For 63 cents a day, you can buy a $25 bond a month. And 1 year's worth of bonds will bring $300 when they mature. What's more, they're guaranteed to be winners. The whole United States stands behind them.
Uh-huh.
So don't waste money betting on horses. Put it in savings bonds.
Okay. Can I still dream about horses, though?
If you do it quietly. Say, why were you giggling about a horse?
And now, Friend of Daddy, starring Mr. Frank Lovejoy. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Bertie, you're dead, mister.
Oh, you little... Give me that pistol.
Oh,
Don't you ever do that again. You give a person a heart attack scaring him like that.
give me my gun. Give me my gun.
Carry a belt across the mouth.
I'm sorry, mister. I didn't mean to scare you.
All right, kid. Just don't ever do that again.
I won't. I promise I won't.
Hey, what's your name?
Butch?
Yeah? My name's Butch, too.
It is?
Yeah. I bet your last name's Carson.
That's right. How'd you know?
Because you look like your daddy.
You know my daddy?
I knew him in the war in Korea. I was just looking for his house.
It's right there. Or he's at work.
Oh?
But Mommy's home.
Well, then let's go see Mommy, okay?
Okay, I guess. Oh, can I have my gun back?
Sure. Here you are, Butch. Only remember what I said.
Yeah.
What did I say?
I oughtn't to give people a heart attack so I can get a belt in the mouth.
Yeah. Well, that's not it exactly, so let's forget about it, okay?
Okay.
Because we're going to be friends, aren't we, Butch?
Yeah, I guess. Hey, Mommy, somebody wants to see you. Who is it? A man.
Well, tell him I don't want any.
He's a friend of Daddy's.
Oh, well, just a minute. I'm sorry. I thought it was a salesman. I just washed my hair. I was drying it out back.
Very pretty, your hair.
Butch said you were a friend of my husband?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm Butch Bailey.
Butch Bailey. Well, at last we meet. Butchie, this is Daddy's best friend from the Korean War.
I know.
Oh? You two have already met?
Oh, yes. Out front. I was ambushed.
Oh, yes. Young Maverick's quite a shot with those cat pistols. Why don't you sit down?
Thank you.
Pete ought to be getting home any minute. I know he'll be so glad to see you.
It's been a long time.
Can I get you something? A can of beer or something?
No, thank you. I'm fine.
Well, if you excuse me a minute, I'll do up my hair.
No, please. Leave it the way it is. It's so pretty.
Well,
You don't see long hair like that much these days.
I guess I'm just old-fashioned. I've never cut it.
Don't ever.
I'll never forget the look on that sergeant's face when you told him if he wanted some commie prisoners, he could find plenty. Right out there across the line.
Yeah, I know it. Who went out to get them?
I did. But I'd never have gotten back if it hadn't been for you.
Ah, forget it.
More coffee, anyone?
Yes, thanks. I'll have another cup.
Well, then what happened?
It's way past your bedtime. That's what's
Oh,
happened.
Mom.
Come on now. Come
Just let
on.
me say it for one more story.
All right, Butch, you've had it. Run along.
But, Pop.
Right now.
Okay.
I'll come in and tuck you in, honey. Say goodnight to Daddy's friend.
Will you tell me some more stories about the war sometime?
Oh, sure, Butch.
When?
Oh, I don't know. Sometime.
Run along now, Butchie. Come
All
on.
right. I'm going. Night.
Night, son.
Quite a kid, Pete. Funny coincidence, you're calling him Butch.
It isn't a coincidence. He was christened Bailey Carson.
You named him after me?
Well, he wouldn't be here if it weren't for you, because I wouldn't be here now if it weren't for you.
It's good to know that there's a kid growing up carrying your name. Me, I got nobody, no family, nothing to tie to.
Oh, that's no way to talk, Butch. The right girl's bound to come along and...
Oh, not for me. Who'd have me? A gimp with a bad ticker who spent most of the best years of his life in veterans' hospitals?
Yeah, but that's all over now. What are your plans?
Plans? Oh, I don't have any. What good are plans?
And we'll make some for you. Look, Butch, why don't you stay here with us for a while?
Oh, I couldn't do that.
Oh, sure you can. We've got a little room off the garage. It isn't much, but we could fix it up, couldn't we, darling?
Oh, yes, of course we could.
No, I couldn't just walk in on you.
Now, listen to me, Butch. I'm a very happy man, and I owe my happiness, I owe my life to you. You don't forget a debt like that. I've worried about it for years. I've wondered where you were and how you were, and suddenly you show up. My turn now to help you. Nothing as dramatic as saving your life, but at least I can help you get started on a new life.
But...
No buts, are there, darling?
No.
You're moving in as of now. Matter, darling? Can't you sleep?
I was thinking.
About what?
Pete,
Yes, darling?
don't let him stay here.
What are you talking about? Of course he can stay here.
Please. I'm afraid.
Of what?
Of him.
Of old Butch with his game leg? Oh, now don't be silly.
I'm not. I'm afraid.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know.
And now, starring Mr. Frank Lovejoy, Act 2 of Friend of Daddy's.
Who is it?
You going to sleep all day?
Oh, good morning. What time is it?
Late. Pete's gone to work already.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Some coffee on the stove. Help yourself.
Thank you.
I've got to get ready to take Butchie in town to dentist.
Oh, don't worry about me. I'll find things okay.
Butchie,
Yeah, Mommy.
you dressed?
Oh,
Hurry up. I'll be ready as soon as I finish brushing my hair.
Five. 67.
What are you doing here?
Watching.
Get out of my bedroom.
My mother always brushed her hair 100 times every morning and every night. You brush your hair 100 times, Louise?
I said get out of here.
I just want to watch. You don't see long hair like yours anymore. It's so soft and fine, like my mother's. Just like my mother's. Let me touch it, Louise. Just once. Let me feel it.
Get out or I'll scream.
Please. Oh, please.
Get out,
Please.
you
Please.
dirty.
Yes. Oh? Oh, send her in.
Pete.
Honey, what are you doing down here in the middle of the morning?
Pete. That horrible man.
Oh, what horrible man.
That buddy of yours, Butch Bailey.
Oh, what'd he do?
I was brushing my hair, and I looked up, and there he was standing in the door watching me.
Well, I don't blame him. You make an awfully pretty picture brushing your hair.
For you, Pete. Not for anybody else.
Well, then you should close your door.
In my own house? Pete, listen to me. Your friend is crazy.
Oh, come on.
I told you I was afraid of him, and I was right. He had a look in his eye.
Now, aren't you imagining a lot of this?
No. He wanted to feel my hair. I had to push him out of the room with all my strength.
Of course, he had no right coming into your
And then
room.
when I finally got up enough courage to come out, he was sitting in the breakfast nook drinking coffee, as cool as a cucumber, as though nothing had happened. But that look was still in his eyes. I can't describe it.
Well, I'll have a little talk with old Butch tonight.
Pete, you don't seem to understand. Talking won't do any good. Get rid of him.
But I can't just throw him out.
If you don't, I'll take Butchie and check into a hotel.
Oh, Louise, you're being childish.
No, I'm not. I'm not going back to that house until that man has left.
Well, I know this has upset you and all that, but try to understand the poor guy. He's been in hospital for years with all those ugly nurses, and when he sees a woman as beautiful as you are, he...
Pete, listen to me. I did some checking at the Veterans Administration on my way over here. Your friend Butch Bailey has been in and out of veterans' hospitals ever since Korea, true. But not for a crippled leg. For a crippled mind. He's a psychopath.
So, that's the way it is, pal.
I see.
I'm sorry, but you know how women are.
Oh, sure. I never should have come here.
Oh, now don't say that.
I don't want to cause you any trouble, Pete. You got it made. A beautiful wife, swell kid, no place for me in this setup.
Now, look, Butch.
Well, that's what you're telling me, isn't it?
But you make it sound...
Like it is. Your wife says get rid of the bum, so you get rid of the bum.
You're not making it easy.
Why should I? No. Wait a minute. As you were, I'm not sore. Pete, I understand. I shouldn't have done what I did. I know that, but I didn't mean any harm. I was just looking at her.
I know, Butch. I understand, but she doesn't. And she's my wife.
Yeah, and you stick to her, kid. You got a wonderful woman there. Well, I better shove off so Louise can get back in her own house.
Where are you going?
Who knows? Who cares?
I do. Look, Butch, what can I do for you? Do you need anything? Can I lend you some money until you get on your feet?
No, thanks. Pete, I'll be all right.
You do understand?
Sure. Sure. Let me see you.
Go on, Butch.
Darling,
Yeah?
you didn't mind too much, did you?
What about Butch?
Yes.
Look, baby, you're my wife. You come first. First get it before anybody.
Oh, Pete.
Oh, hey, look at the time. We better hit the sack.
I'll go in and get ready for bed.
Yes, and I'll lock all the doors and the windows.
Oh, don't be silly. Pete,
Yeah?
you see my hairbrush?
Oh, why?
Can't find it on my dressing table. It's gone. You sure you didn't?
Now, what would I want with your hairbrush?
I don't know. I wonder what Butch would want with it.
And now, starring Mr. Frank Lovejoy, Act 3 of Friend of Daddy's.
See that, Mommy? I got 2 of them that time.
Yes, dear. Only I wish you... Here. You stay outside and play while I get dinner on the stove, huh? Hello? Where are you, darling?
At the office.
Oh, I was just going to start dinner.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm calling. No, but I do have to stay in town.
Why?
Butch Bailey called me today. He wants to see me.
Oh, Pete.
I'm sorry, darling, but it's the least I can do.
I suppose so. Thought he'd left town.
He had. He's been back east for a couple of months, but I guess things didn't pan out for him. I won't be late.
Promise?
Promise. See you later.
Bye, darling.
Hello, Louise.
Butch. What are you doing here?
I couldn't stay away.
Was Pete on the phone? He said...
I know. He said he was meeting me downtown. I made that date with him to be sure he wouldn't come home. And interrupted.
Interrupt? What do you want?
Take down your hair.
I certainly will not.
Louise, please do me a favor. Take down your hair. That's all I ask. Just take it down.
Ridiculous. Now get out of here. Get out.
You won't take down your hair when I ask you nicely?
Of course not.
I have to make you take it down.
Put away that gun.
Not until you let your hair down.
You wouldn't use it.
Oh, yes, I would. Even if I had to kill you, your hair would still be alive. Hair goes on growing, you know, after death.
Oh, no, Butch.
Go on, Louise. Take out the pins. Oh, that's right. At the back. Now fluff it out. Just like Mother used to.
Butch, please.
Oh, that's it. That's nice and loose, like a living frame to your face. Now, here. Here's your brush, the one I took. Use it. Go on. Brush out 100 times. Brush it until it crackles. Till it's soft as angels down.
Butch.
Oh, go on. I'm sorry about taking that brush, Louise. You see, I thought that would be enough, but it wasn't. It reminded me of you. Her mother. Not enough. I had to come back. I had to watch you using it. Don't you understand? When you're very little, you're very, very little, you're lying in your crib at night, and your mother comes to tuck you in. She leans over you. And her hair, her beautiful long hair, falls down around you in a warm, sweet web of protection. And you're safe. No harm can come to you. It tickles your nose a little. Maybe you chuckle. Maybe you sneeze. And you play with it, pulling it a little, maybe. It smells like heaven. You fall asleep dreaming of angels, and every one of them looking like your mother. Looking like you.
This is crazy, but now you've got to leave.
Let me touch it. Let me run my fingers through it.
Stay away from it.
I won't hurt you, I promise. I just want to feel it. I want to bury my face in it.
No.
I won't hurt you.
Stop it.
Louise, don't try to stop me.
Get away from me.
Now you're going to let me...
I'm not going to let you do anything.
Alive or dead, I'll still have your hair if you're dead.
You're choking me.
Yes, Louise, I'm choking you with your own hair. If I have to use force, I will. Louise. Oh, Louise.
Hi, Butch. You know what Mother's saying. That you're dead.
Butch. I told you never to go around scaring people. With that gun.
Butch. I know, Marty. I shouldn't ever shoot the gun in the house. I forgot.
Darling, I'm glad you did.
What's the matter with Butch? Did I give him a heart attack?
Maybe. I don't know.
He said I shouldn't scare people and give them heart attacks.
It's all right, dear. It's all right.
Hello?
Pete, come home right away.
But I'm waiting for Butch.
Butch is here. He's had an attack or something. Call the Veterans Hospital and tell them to come and get him. Hurry home, Pete. Please hurry.
Suspense, in which Frank Lovejoy starred in Friend of Daddy's, written, produced, and directed by William N. Robeson. Supporting Frank Lovejoy in Friend of Daddy's were Kathy Lewis, Bill Quinn, and Dick Beals. Listen again next week when we return with Robert Horton starring in Spoils for Victor, another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
The Pit and the Pendulum, starring Mr. Raymond Burr. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I was sick unto death with that long agony. And when at length they unbound me, and I was permitted to sit, I felt that my senses were leaving me. The sound of the inquisitorial voices seemed merged in one dreamy, indeterminate hum, from which emerged the syllables of my name.
Jean d'Albret. Captain Jean d'Albret.
Good fathers, gentlemen.
We hear you, my son.
Even now, I have no knowledge of where I am, or to whom I may be speaking.
You are speaking to Fra Pedro de Espila, Prior of the Dominicans of Segovia, and Grand Inquisitor over all Spain.
This, then, is the court of the Inquisition?
It is.
But I am French. I am a French officer.
That is true. A soldier and creature of the arch-fiend. the Antichrist, Napoleon Bonaparte, who even now is at the gates of Madrid, while his General Lassalle menaces our city of Toledo itself.
Nonetheless, I am a prisoner of war. By what right do you try me in this court?
Let the charges against the prisoner be read.
Item, that on the 4th day of September, in the year of our Lord, 1808, the said Captain Jean d'Albret did wed and espouse that most noble lady, the Doña Beatriz Valdez, niece and ward of the illustrious...
One moment.
Your Excellency.
This marriage was a deplorable thing, if you like. But lawful marriage, however regrettable in a case like this, is no sin or crime.
There are other matters in the indictment.
Then continue, but give us nothing that is not material.
Item, that on the 12th of October, 1808, the said Jean d'Albret, being in command of a battery of light artillery, did direct the fire of his guns against the holy church of Santa Marta the Innocent, and thereby, of his wicked malice, destroyed that church utterly.
Captain d'Albret, is this charge true?
Yes.
You admit it?
The church blew up, did it not?
Would you boast of your sin, young man?
It blew up because it was filled with kegs of gunpowder for your army. I had every right to fire on it.
And that is all the defense you have to make?
I tell you, I had every right to fire on it by military law.
Military law above God's law?
I don't know. I did my duty. Long live the Emperor.
Captain d'Albret, mark what I say. No man, however great his heresy, is condemned to be burnt in the fire if he first recant and acknowledge the error of his ways. Do you so?
I cannot. I was under orders. I obeyed them.
Then, Jean d'Albret, there can be no mercy, no pity, since there is no atonement. The sentence of this
I had never heard the sentence. I had swooned in terror. Yet, there are shadows of memory which told me indistinctly of tall figures that lifted me and bore me in silence down, still down, until a hideous dizziness oppressed me at that descent into the earth. Then, as consciousness swam back to my wits again, I opened my eyes to see darkness, a damp stone floor, and darkness. Oh, Beatrice, my wife.
Did you call me, Jean?
Beatrice? You? Here in the dungeons of the Inquisition?
No, my poor Jean. I am only here in your imagination.
Am I mad, then?
No, but your brain is fevered. You only think you hear me.
I hear you clearly. You won't leave me.
As long as I am in your heart, I cannot leave you. Have they chained you to the wall?
No. They've taken away my uniform. They've given me sandals, the robe, rough cloth, but I'm unchained.
Can you stand up, Jean?
I think so. Yes.
Then walk. Walk as far as you can. Measure the limits of the cell. This is not a tomb.
I'll try, Beatrice. I'll try. This robe impedes me. The floor is treacherous with slime, but I'll try.
Look out! Are you all right?
I've fallen on my face. The robe tripped me, but...
What is it?
Beatrice, my hand is in front of me, lower than my face, but I feel nothing.
Nothing, Jean?
It's a pit. A deep circular pit. And on the very edge of it.
They would have had you walk into it.
Yes.
But you didn't. You're saved.
Saved, Beatrice. Saved. Saved for what? At last, a deep sleep fell upon me, a sleep like that of death. How long it lasted, I know not. But when I opened my eyes once again, I could see. Yes, see. My prison was large and lofty, its walls formed of massive iron plates. A wild, sulphurous luster, I could not trace its origin, lit up the dungeon and the circular pit. I could see, but I could not move. I lay on my back on a low framework of wood, securely bound by a long fastening resembling the surgical bandage. The bandage passed round and round my body, leaving at liberty only my head and my left arm. With much exertion, I could supply myself with food from an earthen dish on the floor beside me. It was seasoned, and there was no water. Beatrice? Beatrice, where are you?
I am here, Jean.
Your voice sounds stronger, and I can see you.
You are weaker, my dear, and more fevered.
Look, Beatrice.
Where?
At the ceiling of this room, 30, 40 feet up. What do you see?
I see, painted on the ceiling, a figure of Father Time.
Yes, but this Father Time carries no side. He carries instead what looks like a gigantic pendulum from an ancient clock. And the pendulum is moving.
Painting cannot move.
Did I swear the pendulum did? It swung a little back and forth, just like a real pendulum. Beatrice, take care.
Take care of what?
Take care of the rats. The rats from the pit. They're swarming out in dozens. I can see their eyes glitter. What do they want?
They've caught the scent of the meat in the dish beside you.
Oh, but they'll not get it. Now go away, you vermin.
Goodbye, Jean, goodbye.
Beatrice, I can hardly hear you.
You're sending me away, Jean.
Sending you away?
My poor loved one. You can't bear to see the rats running about my feet, can you? Even when you know I'm not here.
Beatrice?
It's true, Jean. You're sending me away.
Yes, it's true. The cell's swarming with vermin. There are others I would rather see here. I would rather see...
Call me Captain Dalbray. Then in spirit I am here.
Would you were here in the flesh, Fra Antonio.
Listen, Captain Dalbray. Do you hear anything?
Yes, I hear something.
Turn your eyes upwards. Look at the ceiling.
The pendulum.
Aye, the pendulum.
It has descended.
Only a foot or so as yet. As you notice, it is not really a pendulum.
No?
No. Its underside is a crescent formed of razor-sharp steel. A ponderous weight, Captain Dalbray. Its movement is slow now, but soon it will take on momentum. It will swing wider and wider, and with each broad movement it will creep a trifle lower. Directly over you. Directly above the region of your heart.
How long before?
It will not be too
too soon. But how soon? Who can tell? Say how long it was. It might have been many days before that hideous blade swept so closely as to fan me with its acrid breath. Down, still unceasingly, still inevitably down. Sharp steel was within 3 inches of my chest, and then, only then, Beatrice!
I hear you calling, Jean. I am here.
Oh, Beatrice.
Is there no hope, my dear?
How can there be? 10, 12 more passages, and it will fray the threads of my robe, only lightly as a razor in a delicate hand. There will be many more sweeps down before it bites deep. I can't escape it. And yet, if I could only use my wits.
You kept me away from you, Jean. You locked me out of your thoughts. If I am here only in your thoughts, why should I fear the rats?
The rats? They still swarm here?
Across the floor and over the meat platter. They've taken nearly all your food.
Yes, they're ravenous. They have sharp teeth. The meat is oily and spiced. If I take what remains of it, scatter you from me. Rub that meat on the bandages that hold me here.
Try it, Jean. Try.
Oh, it may be too late. If I move my body a fraction of an inch up...
Try it, I tell you, try.
Can I stand those rats crawling across me? Can the flesh bear it?
One of them has leaped on the wooden framework. Another follows. They're gnawing at the bandage.
7, 8 more sweeps of the pendulum.
Does the bandage give way?
A little.
Lie still, Jean, lie still.
10 dozen rats now. Is death, I wonder, worse than this disgust?
A dozen sharp knives could do no better. The bandage is loose into ribbons. If you move sideways carefully and drop to the floor.
Beatrice, I can't move. My arms and legs are numb. There's no power to...
Steel has frayed your robe. A moment more will be too late. Try.
Then, with all the strength that is in me and the hatred I bear my enemies...
Free!
A second time. Free.
Jean, the pendulum stops. They're drawing it back up through the ceiling.
Each move I make is watched. You never doubted that.
No. Yet with all they could do to you, they have failed twice.
They will not fail a third time, my dear.
Listen, what's that?
The groaning. Grinding as of metal.
It is only the cogwheels of the pendulum.
I think not, Beatrice.
Why not?
It seems to come from behind these iron-plated walls. It seems to shake the dungeon as a mill wheel might shake it.
Stand up. Get off your knees.
I can't, Beatrice. I can't endure anymore. Don't you sense even now the odor of heated iron?
Heated iron?
The walls are beginning to glow red. Oh, Beatrice, I have been much humbled. But I won't have you see me in tears. Now I order you to go.
Jean, in the name of heaven.
Yes, in the name of heaven, go. A suffocating heat pervaded the prison. I could draw no breath of air into my lungs. Against the loom of that fiery destruction, the cool pit beckoned, hideous with crawling things.
Does the pit please you, Captain Dalbray?
You again.
Do you find its contents pleasing?
No more than your company.
And how shall you avoid it? Look.
This dungeon has changed its shape.
That is true. The walls are closing in. It was formerly a square, and now it is flattening slowly toward the center.
To force me into the pit?
Of course.
It would force you along with me.
Again, apparently you must be told, Captain Dalbray, that you are speaking only to your own sick fancy. I am not here at all.
And now, flatter and flatter grew the red-hot walls. I shrank back, but the closing walls pressed me relentlessly onward toward the loathsome pit. At length, for my seared and writhing body, there was no longer an inch of foothold. I screamed once. I tottered on the edge of the pit. I averted my eyes. Then there was a discordant hum of human voices. There was a loud blast as of many trumpets. The fiery walls rushed back. An outstretched arm caught my own as I fell fainting into the abyss. The outstretched arm of General LaSalle. The French army had entered Toledo. The Spanish Inquisition was in the hands of its enemy.
Suspense on CBS Radio. And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
Tonight we welcome back to Suspense a young lady known wherever music is played and songs are sung, Miss Margaret Whiting. Without diminishing the luster of her musical reputation, we within the spectral halls of Suspense fancy Miss Whiting as an actress, and a fine one indeed. So it gives us pleasure from time to time to reveal to her public another fascinating side of this fascinating girl. Listen then as Miss Whiting stars in Drive-In.
And now, Drive-In, starring Miss Margaret Whiting. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I hadn't let Ruth talk me into serving that last car that came into the drive-in that rainy night. It was late and I was tired.
Don't take that order. I got 3 other cars and I'm waiting for French fries.
Well, look at the clock, will you? It's near midnight and I'm off duty.
Oh, please, Mildred. Just this one more, will you? I'll do the same thing sometimes.
Oh.
But don't be car, see? Probably a crush. Anyway, you got nobody waiting for you.
It was true. No one was waiting for me. Only the bus which would take me to North Hollywood in the apartment where I lived alone. So I buttoned up my raincoat and I took a menu over to the car. Good evening.
Never mind the menu, just some black coffee and a ham sandwich. Please hurry it.
I hurried it, but when I clamped in the tray, I had to roll down the window a little. When I touched the handle, it felt kind of sticky, and my fingers were red. Blood red.
Oh, I'm Dr. Russell. I just had an emergency patient in the car.
An accident?
Yes. Sunset and Vine, quite a crash. I just happened by. They took one of them to the hospital.
Oh, I see. I walked back trying to wipe the blood from my hand with a paper napkin. It gave me a creepy feeling to have somebody's blood on my hand. I was keeping close track of the time, and I was a little worried for fear the big driving clock wasn't right. Sometimes ran slow, so I took a coin from my apron pocket. I figured it was worth a dime not to miss that last bus to North Hollywood. I walked over to the payphone, and I was about to drop the dime in. I looked out, and he was leaning on the horn and beckoning to me at the same time. Put the dime back in my pocket and hurried out to him.
I'm sorry, but I'm in a hurry. I haven't time for this coffee to cool off. How much do I owe you?
40 cents.
Here you are. I hope I didn't interrupt your phone call. It wasn't important, was it?
No. I was just checking on the time. Didn't want to miss my bus.
Well, there was a clock right over your head.
It's usually wrong.
I have the time. It's about 4 minutes to 12.
Oh, I am going to miss it.
What time does it leave?
At midnight from Hollywood and Highland.
Oh, hop in. I'm going right past there.
Oh, wonderful. I'll just get rid of this stuff.
All right.
In my hurry to unhook the tray from the window, I gave it a jerk and it fell crashing to the ground. Oh, darn. Ruth, please help me pick up these things, will you? I'm going to miss my bus.
All right, Mildred, don't get shook.
He picked the things up quickly, and Ruth took them to the kitchen. Then I noticed something shining on the ground. It was one of the shakers that had fallen from the tray. I picked it up, put it in my apron pocket, rushed over to the other side of the car, and got in.
I suppose you're in a hurry because someone's waiting for you.
No, I live alone, but I'd hate to walk all the way out to North Hollywood in this rain.
You won't have to walk.
This is very nice of you. I appreciate it.
Not at all. Would you mind rolling up that window on your side? There's a grab.
Of course. You can let me off at that corner over there.
All right.
Anywhere along here will be all right. This is fine. Hey, you're turning the wrong way.
Am I?
Yes. This goes out to Laurel Canyon.
Does it? You thought you were pretty smart, didn't you?
I don't know what you mean. Please, let me out of this car.
You thought I wouldn't see you go to the phone.
The phone? Well, I was calling about the time. Honest, I was.
The time with that clock over your head?
But I told you that clock's wrong sometimes. Besides, who would I call? Why should I call anyone about you?
You were calling the police.
No, honest, I wasn't. Why should I call the police?
You know why.
No, really, I don't.
Because you saw it.
So what?
His blood.
Whose blood?
The blood of the man I just murdered.
People and some cars in the next few blocks, and I thought of calling out. And then I knew why he told me to roll up the window when I'd first gotten into the car. And then we were at the mouth of Laurel Canyon, and I could see the road dark and lonely up ahead. Look, I didn't know anything about you. Honest, I didn't. Please let me go.
You know something about me now?
I won't tell anybody, whatever it is. I promise you I won't.
A woman's promises. Remind me to tell you a story about a woman and a promise.
Oh, let me out. Please, let me out right here.
It's a long way to North Hollywood.
Well, that's all the better. It'll take me hours to get there, and you'll be miles away by then.
I'm not taking any chances with you.
Please let me out. I gotta get home.
You said no one was waiting for you. You live alone. No one will miss you.
He heard the siren and looked quickly into the rearview mirror. Then he took a gun from his pocket and turned to me.
If that's for us and we're stopped, remember, I'd used this gun before tonight, and I can use it again if I have to. If I'm taken, you'll go first. Now listen, I'm a doctor and you're a nurse, and we're on an emergency call. If you want to live, you won't try to pull anything. What's the trouble, officer?
Going off as fast for a wet night, aren't you, sir? I followed you up from Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh, I'm Dr. Russell. This is Nurse Johnson. Emergency call.
Let's see your identification, sir.
As he fumbled through his pockets, the motorcycle cop looked over at me. I thought for a moment that I could signal him with my eyes. Then I knew he wasn't looking at me. He was looking down at my white starched apron, which you could see under my raincoat. He thought it was a nurse's uniform.
Here you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, Doc. Sorry I stopped you. Oh, just a minute.
What is it now?
The rain started to slide up the canyon a ways. Take it easy.
Thanks. I will.
You're not Dr. Russell, are you?
What do you think?
wasn't a big one, but it had made a terrible mess of the road. He didn't slow down, and the car swerved crazily as it slipped from one side of the road to the other. Suddenly, it felt as though the whole rear end had left the pavement. I looked over at him. He was tense. His knuckles turned white as he clutched the wheel. He shoved the car into reverse. I prayed it wouldn't move. It didn't. We were stuck, hopelessly stuck.
Of all the luck.
Suddenly the canyon was filled with light. The car had come around the curve behind us. This might be my chance.
Remember, I still have this gun. Don't try anything. Hey, we're stuck here. Did you give us a push? How do you like that? Now I have to get out. I have to put something under the wheel. You stay here.
There were some bushes by the side of the road. If I could reach them, maybe I could run up the hill and hide until he went away. I carefully turned the handle of the door. I could see him in the rearview mirror. He was at the back of the car. I eased the door gently open. I put one foot out. I was just sliding out when I heard him behind me.
You're not going anyplace. Come here. Give me that raincoat.
Why?
I need something dry to stuff under this wheel.
But
You won't be needing it.
I hesitated a moment. He ripped it off my back, bent down and stuffed it under the wheel. The gun stuck out of his back pocket. If I could get it. Oh, if I could lay my hands on it. I held my breath and I reached out. It seemed so far. I finally touched it, and I snatched it from his pocket.
Give me that gun.
I'm getting out of here. You can't stop me now.
Can't I?
No. You stay right where you are. I won't hurt you. All I want is to get home. I'm going, but if you try to follow me,
You'll what?
I'll kill you.
I don't think you will.
Yes, I will. You think I'm afraid.
Aren't you?
No. I don't care what happens to you. You're a murderer. And I'm going to tell the police. Now you stay where you are. Don't come any closer. I'm not afraid. I'll shoot.
Good thing I used them all up tonight. Now give me that gun and get in that car.
Are you going to kill me?
I've got to now.
We were nearing the top of the canyon. The road was very steep. The rain had let up. It was just drizzling now. Suddenly we came over the crest of the hill. Way down below, the city stretched out for miles. Millions of lights glittered in the rain. For a moment, I forgot my fear. It's so beautiful.
Look out, Margaret. Top of the world. Ever been up here before?
No.
Nice, isn't it?
Yes.
I used to come up here with a girl once. Used to sit and talk for hours. Come on, we'll get a better view if we get out.
I knew it was no use arguing, so I followed him. But not all the way to the edge of the cliff, which dropped away into deep darkness.
Come on.
I'm afraid to get so close.
Well, you won't fall. Look. That's Los Angeles over there. I was born there. And I went to school there, too. Used to get in all sorts of trouble at school. And over that way, towards the ocean, that's Westwood. That's where she lived. The girl I was telling you about.
Does she still live there?
No. She's dead. I killed her.
Why?
Because she couldn't keep her promises. The jury said I was insane, but I think it was the sanest thing I ever did. I thought about it a lot.
If I could keep him talking, maybe a car would come along. Maybe something would happen. It was my only chance.
You know the difference between right and wrong?
You killed someone else tonight, didn't you?
Yeah.
Dr. Russell?
Yeah.
Why?
He was one of the men who said I was insane.
But they'll catch you.
No, they won't find the doctor for several days.
Well, what are you going to do now?
Kill you.
I started to back away slowly. I'd made a mistake of reminding him of the present. My hands went instinctively to my apron pocket for something to defend myself with. I knew there was a pencil there. It was sharp. Maybe I could scratch him, hurt him some way with it, but when I reached for it, I felt something else instead. Something cold and hard. I was puzzled for a moment, and then I remembered. It was the shaker I'd picked up at the drive-in.
You can't get away now.
Then he started moving toward me. Me with only a pencil and a shaker to defend myself.
It's too bad I came into that drive-in tonight.
Well, why did you?
Because I was hungry. I hadn't eaten for a long time.
Well, weren't you afraid someone would see you?
No alarm had gone out.
Well, how did you know?
I knew. If only you hadn't rolled that window down.
Well, if you're sorry, why don't you let me go?
It's too late.
And I heard a car coming up the hill. With a sudden movement, his arms were about me in a tight embrace. I started to scream, and suddenly his lips closed over mine. Pushing my head back roughly, he kissed me. I scarcely breathed. I felt the car's lights on us like a spotlight. He held me for a long moment. And when the car had passed, he released me. My pencil had fallen to the ground, and I was left with only the shaker in my hand. I fingered it nervously. I felt the top coming off, and the contents spilling to my hand.
What have you got in your hand?
Nothing.
Give it to me.
He grabbed my wrist and pulled me towards him. We were moving to the edge of the cliff, but my other hand was free, and I threw the handful of pepper into his face. Tried to clear his eyes, but it was too late. The pepper had blinded him. He lunged out for me, stepped aside quickly, and he slipped in the mud. His hands went out to steady himself. He clawed frantically at thin air, and then he fell over backwards, over the edge, into the darkness below. Then my legs wouldn't support me. I sank into unconsciousness. I don't know how long I lay on the wet ground. When I came to, it was raining again. I was soaked to the skin, and my hair was caked with mud. There was no one in sight. The lights of Los Angeles sparkled peacefully far below, and I knew that somewhere on the other side of these hills was North Hollywood and my apartment. As I rode slowly to my feet and started back down the road, somehow everything that had happened seemed unreal, like a dream. Everything but the warm pain of my bruised lips where he'd kissed me to keep me from crying out.
Suspense, in which Margaret Whiting starred in William N. Robeson's production of Drive-In, written by Mel Donnelly. Listen again next week when we return with Frank Lovejoy and Joan Banks starring in Ivy is a Lovely Name. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Not many of us rob banks, or traffic with the supernatural, or commit murder. Yet most of us play our parts in one of the most suspenseful dramas man can experience. the birth of a baby. That's what our story's about. That and the Hollywood Freeway, that swift and terrifying facility built by man not for the convenience of men, but for the convenience of machines. It's the most heavily traveled road in the world. It knows death intimately, almost daily. In a moment, Ivy's a lovely name for a girl, by Sam Pierce.
Hello, this is Gary Moore with a parable for you. This isn't going to be one of those shaggy parables of yours, like the celebrated Blue New, is it, Gary?
Sherwood, I make you no promises.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Well, here it goes. Once there was a hummingbird named Martha. Her mate, Sammy, had been worrying about feathering their nest, and he said as much. Martha, he asked in a tired chirp, how are we going to go about feathering our nest? And Martha, a wise hummingbird, she hummed, let's use feathers.
Gary?
But this isn't such a good idea for people, besides the tickle. The best idea is to feather your nest by systematic saving in improved, higher interest earning United States savings bonds. Buy them through the payroll savings plan or the bond-a-month plan, and you'll like what happens to your money.
Friends, sound advice from the proprietor of the Gary Moore Radio Show, weekdays on CBS Radio.
No need to mention that, Sherwood.
Oh, no?
It wasn't as though this was our first baby. Bobby was 8, going on 9. It was just that Linda was out of practice, and it made her jumpy. We planned this thing like Eisenhower planned the Normandy landing, and yet every hour on the hour, Linda wanted to run down the checklist. And she wasn't so pretty, and if I didn't love her so much, I might have gotten a little annoyed. As it was, well, a little understanding never hurt anyone.
I know it's silly, Tom, but is the car full of gas?
To the top.
And you called Marion about coming over and staying with Bobby?
Yesterday, the day before yesterday, and also today. Twice. It's a wonder your sister answers the phone at all.
Did you call Dr. King today?
I called him. I told him you felt fine.
You told him I thought I might have to...
I told him your built-in calculating machine said tonight was the night. He said not to knock it. Mothers-to-be usually have inside information on such things.
Please, no jokes.
He gave me the phone number where I could reach him if he wasn't at home or at the office.
Tom, I'm sorry I'm such a nag about this, but I just don't want anything to go wrong.
Baby.
I keep reading about people running out of gas on the way to the hospital or losing their way or getting there and not being able to find their doctor.
Baby, I know.
I just figured I couldn't take it if something like that happened to me. I guess I'm not much of a mother.
Now, you look. You're a wonderful mother. You've done a magnificent job with Bobby. You're going to do okay with the new one.
Say, where is Bobby? If we have to leave in a hurry, I don't want to have to start looking all over the neighborhood for him.
Honey, he's just out in the backyard.
He isn't climbing the ivy to the garage roof again, is he? Tom, I've asked him not to play in the ivy 100 times, and he says, okay, Mom, and goes right on doing it. I think you ought to speak to him. I mean, you're his father.
Now, Linda, listen to me. Bobby is an 8-year-old boy. He's a healthy, normal boy with the urge to climb that every kid has had since boys were invented. Honey, that ivy on the garage is as strong and as safe as a rope ladder. He's not going to hurt himself.
He could fall and kill himself.
He could fall, and he'd probably bounce right up again.
Tom, I want you to call him in. I want you to tell him not to climb on that ivy anymore, and I mean it.
All right, honey, I'll call him. Looks like rain out anyway. Hey, you know, I just had a great thought. If the new one's a girl, maybe you should call it Ivy. Yeah, Ivy Peterson. It's a pretty name.
A horrible name. And I don't think you're funny. I don't think you're funny at all.
Baby, come on now. I was only kidding. All right, I'll go out and get Bobby. Bob! Bobby!
Hi, Pop.
Where are you, son?
Up here, on the garage.
Well, now, come on down. You're not supposed to play in the garage roof.
Okay, watch. I'll show you how I can slide down the ivy.
Yeah, okay. You better hurry up. It's starting to rain.
I can do it in the rain, Pop. I've done it. Watch.
Take it easy now. Your mom doesn't like you climbing things.
Watch. I can climb right down like a ladder almost. See, I'm down. How's that, Pop?
That's great, son. Only your mom doesn't want you to do it. You might lose your grip and fall, and well, you could get very badly hurt. You wouldn't want that, son, would you?
I fell lots of times, and I didn't even hurt myself at all. I can climb easy.
Yeah, well, now, before we go in, I want you to listen very carefully. I don't want you to mention the ivy or the garage to your mother.
Okay.
Oh, now, look, I'm serious about this. Your mom's a little... Well, she's not exactly herself. She's nervous. She worries about little things because... Well, because...
Because she's going to have a baby? Isn't that right, Pop?
Yeah, that's right, son. I couldn't have put it better myself.
I sure hope it isn't a girl.
Oh, what's wrong with girls?
Oh, they cry all the time, and they dress in dresses, and they can't climb or anything.
Well, your mother wants a girl, and I'd kind of like one myself. You're enough boy for one family. Now, come on in the house. It's really beginning to rain.
Tom?
We're here, Linda.
Tom, please hurry.
Hey, what is it, baby?
Tom, I think you'd better call Dr. King. I think it's time to go.
Okay. Okay, I'll call him right now. Now, look, Bobby, you can help. You go in your mother's room and get her overnight basket. It's at the foot of the bed.
Okay, Pop. You better call Marion.
Yeah. Now, take it easy, sweetie. I'll call her. First, I've got to call the doc, then I'll call your sister. Let's see. It's almost dark. If we can get out of here in, say, 15 minutes, we should get to the hospital by... Hello. Hello, is Dr. King there? Oh, it's you, Doc. Well, this is Tom Peterson. And Linda, my wife? Yeah, Linda. Yeah, oh, well, she's fine, but she's going to have the baby, and... Yeah. Yeah, well, she thinks we'd better go pretty soon, Doc. She says that...
Tell him now, Tom. Please tell him now.
She says now, Doc. Yeah, I know. Okay. Yeah. I'll drive her over there as soon as we can get away, and you'll be there. Okay, and thanks, Doc. Thanks a lot.
Did he say he'd go right over to the hospital?
Yeah, that's right, baby. He'll be there. Now, all I have to do is get your sister Marion over here, and we can go. You get Marion on the phone, and that's the first hitch. She says her husband Gus has her car, and it blew a gasket or something, and well, now she's about to have hysterics because she has no way of getting over to take care of Bobby. So you make the only move you can. You tell her to forget it. You'll take Bobby to the hospital with you. Bobby.
Yeah, Pop?
Now, look. We're going to have to change things a little. You're going with us.
Oh, boy, Tom.
I can't help it, honey. Your sister got loused up with the car, and she can't get over here. So we've got to do it this way. That'll be all right. Bobby won't be any trouble. Now, will you, son?
No, I won't be any trouble. I promise.
Okay. Now, you all set, Linda?
I think so.
And Bobby's got the bag?
Yeah.
Car's out front? Yeah. Well, I could do without this rain. Well, you can't have everything.
Tom, let's go.
Yeah, okay. We're off. And don't worry, baby. There's plenty of time. I know the way to the hospital like a book. You just take it easy and relax. And don't worry. Okay? Let's go. You've gone over the route so many times in your mind you could drive it blindfold. But you hadn't planned on a San Fernando Valley rainstorm. A half an hour of rain and the streets are running knee-deep, and your windshield is covered with mud and water before the wipers can clear it. The only thing that's really on your side is time. Because you had everything ready to go, and Linda said she could tell sooner with a second child. Well, that's what she said.
Tom, how long will it take to get there?
Well, you know we planned it for about 20 minutes. Half an hour at the outside.
With this rain, I mean. How long will this rain?
I don't know, honey. Maybe a few minutes longer than we planned, not much.
Hey, Pop, that car went through a puddle and splashed us.
A puddle, more like a lake. Oh, it won't be like this when we get on the freeway. Water doesn't stand on the road there.
You think we should take the freeway in this storm?
Oh, honey, do you want me to drive through these lakes all the way to the hospital? Look, we get off this street in about 3 blocks and get up on the freeway. Well, from there on in, it's easy sailing.
Well, they drive pretty fast on the freeway.
Holy mackerel, honey, will you relax? I drive the freeway to work every day of my life. I know it like a book. We'll get there on time. Relax. You make the turn off Laurel Canyon Boulevard, climb the long ramp, and you're on the freeway. You've hollered right along with the next guy about the crazy, mixed-up Hollywood freeway system. But right now it looks great. 4 wide, velvet-smooth lanes inbound, 4 lanes outbound, and a lovely strip divider down the middle. Of course, on this section of freeway, the divider isn't a steel fence like on some. It's sort of a raised parkway. Asphalt on top, about 10 feet wide, with boxes every 100 yards or so planted with shrubs. But it does keep you separated from the cars in the opposite lane. And in a rain like this, with the glare from your headlights mixing crazily with the others, it's a comforting feeling just to know it's there.
Daddy, are we almost there?
Almost.
How much further is it?
Stop bothering Daddy, Bobby. It's a little ways yet.
Bobby, the Hollywood Bowl's over there on your right. Can't see it, of course, but that's where it is.
And those are the lights of Hollywood right ahead of us.
Will we get to the hospital pretty soon?
Sure we will, Bobby. We go along the freeway here till we get to the Vermont off-ramp. Oh, then we go down Vermont a few blocks, and we'll be there.
Do you know that we're going almost 60 miles an hour, Tom?
I do, honey.
Boy, 60. Let's go faster, Pop.
Son, 60 is the average speed along the freeway. If you go faster, you run into the cars ahead of you. But if you go slower, you get clobbered by the cars in back of you.
An awful lot of traffic for this time of night, isn't there?
Nothing unusual, honey. They begin to jam up all the way to the interchange. But they all move.
I never feel easy driving so close to other cars so fast.
Not bad. A lot better than that old-fashioned stop-and-go routine. Oh, so long as everybody keeps in his own lane and stays moving, things are fine. How do you feel, honey?
I'm all right. But I wish we'd get there.
I thought you said the second ones were, well, a little more predictable. This one seems to be in an awful hurry.
Well, I'm sorry, Tom.
Oh, come on, baby. I didn't mean anything. I was just...
Tom, will you see if you can get us there as soon as you can? Oh, please. Please. Yes.
Honey, just hang on. I'll see if maybe I can...
Stop! It's a tire, our front tire. No, we're swerving. We're going over the divider.
I know, honey.
Dear God.
All right, baby.
I'm all right.
Bobby?
I'm okay, Pop. Why'd you drive up here, Pop?
Tire blew out. Oh, we're lucky. No one hit us. We didn't go across the divider into a car coming the other way. We're okay.
I can't stay here very long.
Now, take it easy, Linda. Hold on. I'll get out and flag down a car, and I'll get them to take us to the hospital. Now, you just sit tight. I'll get out there, okay? Hey, slow down, will you? And we need help. Hey! Oh, they won't stop, honey. Rather, they can't stop. Everybody's going too fast to stop.
What are we going to do?
Well, I want you and Bobby to stay right here. I can't get across those 4 lanes of traffic. I'd never make it. I'll walk down the divider to the next overhead street crossing.
Can you get off the divider there?
Of course I can. They've got to have some steps up the inside of the cement post or a steel ladder up the outside.
Oh, Tom.
Oh, honey, they probably even have a phone at the base there, in a box or something. After all, nobody'd build a freeway with a divider strip down the middle of it with no way off. They'd be completely crazy.
Can I go with you, Dad?
No, son, I want you to stay here with your mother. I'll be back before you know it. It can't be too far.
Please hurry, Tom. Be careful.
Now, don't worry, baby. I'll be back in a jiffy. to walk ahead to the next overhead. But then you remember that you passed one back about a quarter mile. So you walk back along the divider instead. You walk, and you begin to fight a crazy urge. It's like the feeling you had when you were a kid and you used to walk the railroad tracks, as if you were balancing on a narrow tightrope and you were going to fall off, step off into space. And then, after what seems like an hour, you're at the overhead crossbridge. You look at the cement pillar rising 60 feet above you to the road bottom, with the decorative vines climbing thinly up the wet cement. And you look for the stairs, or the ladder, or the phone. And there are no stairs. There's no ladder, and there is no phone. There's just you and the raised divider you're standing on, and the cement pillar, and the jigsaw of flashing headlights hurtling by you on both sides, not seeing you or not doing anything about it if they do see you. You've never felt so alone in your life. You've never felt so trapped. You've never been so scared.
In just a moment, we will return for the second act of Suspense.
A station affiliated with the CBS radio network sounds different because of a sound difference in its programs and news. For this station presents not only the news that interests you most locally, but adds to it national and worldwide perspective through CBS News coverage and reporting. This station brings you more than its exacting standards for local interest programming. Its schedule includes the top product of CBS Radio's New York and Hollywood production facilities, spotlighting the stars and star entertainment that are national in appeal and importance. This station offers not only complete, objective public affairs broadcasts that affect listeners at close range, but selects the award-winning products of CBS News' Department of Public Affairs, weighing important issues of the nation, exploring new horizons in science, medicine, the arts, and the humanities. When you listen to this station, the different sound is your assurance that a sound difference governs its presentation of news and entertainment. That difference is made possible by this station's affiliation with CBS Radio, America's most listened-to network.
You stand on the narrow concrete divider in the rain, and you know you have to get off. You've got to get help for your wife and your son, and the new life that's trying so hard to be born back in the car. Maybe if you time it right, you can get across the 4 lanes and make it up the bank to the street and get help. Maybe. If you watch closely and brake for it just right. Yeah, that's got to be the trick. Get a brake and run for it. Now. You don't get 2 feet before they're on you. You make it back, and that's all. And now you know you can't get help that way. So you hurry back through the rain a long quarter mile to the car. Hi, honey.
Well?
I didn't make it. I'm going back to the other way and see if there's a way up there. It's the only thing I can do. Where's Bobby?
Why, he's with you.
No, honey, I left him with you. I told him to stay with you.
But I let him go look for you. I thought I was going to have the baby, and I asked him to go and get you. I thought...
He didn't get to me. I came back to the car. He wasn't on the divider.
He has to be. He went the same way.
Back? Back towards Hollywood?
No, you said you were going forward to the next overhead.
Honey, I didn't go forward. I went back. Oh, Linda, baby. Bobby's out alone on that divider somewhere. I'll go get him.
Oh. Hurry, Tom. Please hurry.
be back, baby. I'll be back as soon as I can.
In just a moment, we'll return for the concluding act of Suspense.
Hi. Maybe you'll recall this tuneful reminder of times past. This is Dennis James with something else worth remembering. It's this. You're so right to stay regular with Kellogg's All-Bran. See, it's the normal, natural way to youthful regularity. The whole bran content of Kellogg's All-Bran supplies your system with all the bulk-forming food that you need every day. There's only one All-Bran. It's Kellogg's All-Bran. So relieve irregularity from lack of bulk, as millions do, with a bowl full of Kellogg's All-Bran each morning. ALL-BRAN. It's Kellogg's All-Bran.
You start off running now. Running down that tiny strip of wet asphalt as though your life depended on it. And you know it isn't your life. It's Linda's. And a little new one. And Bobby. An 8-year-old. He could get bewildered. He could get dizzy and step out into that traffic. And you keep running till you reach the overhead bridge. And there's no Bobby. There's nothing but rain and concrete and headlights and fear. You're just about to make another try at a run across the traffic when you hear it. A siren. It's moving. Coming along the freeway. Maybe you can stop it. Maybe you can jump out in front of it and stop it. But you know before you even consider it that you wouldn't live long enough to tell them what you wanted. And now you can see it. A revolving red light on a moving car, coming up the fast lane. You stand there like a madman, waving your arms and screaming, "Stop! Stop here on the divider! Please! Please stop!" And you watch it hurtle by you. And you hate them for not seeing you. And you wonder if there is a way off this trip. This miserable, thin, wet divider. Then you realize the siren is dying down. Not fading away, but stopping. You look down the divider to see the revolving red light on the top of the police car. And it's stopping. Why, your car is stopping. And you run. Run back towards the car. Back towards Linda. And now you know the police car is stopped because the cars ahead of you in the fast lane are stopping too. And you run back along the damnable strip. And you run. And you run. And you run. And at last you're there. You're back at the car. And there's a policeman with flares standing behind the police car. And inside your car, there are 2 policemen with Linda. And Bobby's there, too.
Hi, Pop.
Bobby, where were you? Where'd you go?
I went up the ivy, Pop. I thought maybe you'd climb the ivy up to the bridge. So I climbed up there to find you. Mom said for me to find you.
It's okay, Bobby. It's okay, son.
I guess you're the father here. Mother and child are doing fine.
Mother and child? Linda. Linda, are you all right, honey?
Okay, darling. It's a little girl. Bobby brought these policemen back with him.
Yeah, Bobby's quite a boy. Popped up over the edge of the overhead bridge just as we were crossing. I thought I was seeing things.
I would have climbed it, Pop, but I thought you were up there.
Oh, it's okay, son. You did just the right thing.
It was easy. The ivy was just like it is on the garage.
Linda.
Yes, Tom.
I couldn't get off. I couldn't find any way off the divider. If it wasn't for Bobby...
I know, Tommy. I know. And you know something else I know.
What, honey?
I've changed my mind. I think Ivy's a lovely name for a girl.
Yeah. Ivy. Ivy Peterson. Oh, it is a lovely name, honey. Hiya, Ivy.
Suspense.
You've been listening to Ivy's A Lovely Name for a Girl, written for Suspense by Sam Pierce. In a moment, the names of our players and a word about next week's story of Suspense. What is a newsman's first duty? His prime responsibility? It can be summed up in 3 words. Get the story. Of course, this statement of his responsibility isn't as simple in practice as in the saying. To get that story requires ingenuity and resourcefulness, an indefinable nose for news based on experience. A good newsman files his report only after he's sure of his facts. His integrity prevents him from slanting a story for sensationalism's sake. He has no axes to grind. A good newsman views his responsibility as one which requires him to convey word of the day's events with speed, accuracy, and objectivity. For all 3, speed, accuracy, and objectivity, the newsmen and correspondents who staff CBS news bureaus around the world are foremost in the field of broadcast journalism. Theirs is a reputation gained through many years of bringing the news to CBS radio listeners from coast to coast. Today, as for decades, you're always sure of getting the news fast, first, via CBS News on CBS Radio. Heard in tonight's story were Bill Meader as Tom, Jane Huzzack as Linda, Johnny Spencer as Bobby, and Carl Frank as the cop. Listen again next week when we return with Witness for Death by Ronald Dawson. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
This is the CBS Radio Network.
Suspense. And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
There's an old saw which says you can't fool all of the people all of the time. Neither can you please all of the people all of the time. Recently, our presentation of Edgar Allan Poe's great horror story, The Pit and the Pendulum, displeased some listeners who felt that we should not have made the Spanish Inquisition the villain. Yet, had we not done so, we would have displeased others who feel that Poe's classic story should not be tampered with. We face a similar quandary with tonight's story. It concerns a man who steals another man's wife. For dramatic reasons, which shall be evident, the wife stealer is a psychoanalyst. But let it be emphasized that this is not to be construed as a condemnation of psychoanalysis any more than it is a condemnation of wayward wives or a justification of murdering husbands. Listen then as Jack Carson stars in Analytical Hour, which begins in just a moment.
And now, Analytical Hour, starring Mr. Jack Carson. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I've told you before, Margaret, I don't think it's wise for you to phone me at the office like this. He's acting strangely. Well, he probably got delayed. I'm sure he'll call you any minute with a logical explanation.
Doctor.
Excuse me.
Well, Mr. Nelson, come in.
Thank you, Doctor. I know it's late and I didn't have an appointment, but I had to see you.
Yes, of course. Sit down. I'll be with you in a moment. Now, my dear, I'm sure you'll have no cause for worry. I've had a patient drop in unexpectedly, so let me call you as soon as he leaves. Yes, goodbye.
I want to tell you how I feel, Doctor.
Oh? Well, how do you feel, Mr. Nelson?
Fine. Just fine. The migraine headache is gone, the dizziness, the heart palpitation, all gone.
Well, that's splendid. Then our sessions together over the past 6 months are beginning to bear fruit.
They have borne fruit. I've never felt so sure of myself in my life, so free.
I see. Well, this is very interesting, Mr. Nelson. Let me get out your file and make some notes. No? Well, why not? You've exhibited remarkable improvement, and I'd like to put it into the record. After all, this is the data from which prognosis is made, and if it isn't complete...
Close it up.
Well, all right.
What I have to say is between you and me, man to man. If you wrote it down, it might... it might be used against me.
I don't follow you.
Well, a doctor, especially a psychoanalyst, never discloses what a patient tells him, but if it's not in writing, it would be your word against mine, wouldn't it?
Really, Mr. Nelson,
Well, what time is it?
Nearly 7.
Has your nurse gone for the day?
Yes, she left an hour ago.
Good. Then we can get down to cases, can't we?
Mr. Nelson, you don't have an appointment. It's getting late.
Sit down and listen to me. When I first came to you, I told you that my relationship with my wife was less than ideal. You listened very patiently. You drew me out of my childhood associations, my parental approval and disapproval patterns, and always you drew me back to my relationship with my wife. You wanted to know what the attraction between us was based upon. With infinite detail, you got from me my innermost thoughts and desires with respect to my wife. Is that right?
Yes.
And it's all in the file. Every question, every answer. Well, after 6 months, you've arrived at some conclusions, haven't you?
Your analysis isn't completed.
Yes, it is. I completed it last night.
You? How do you mean?
There's only one possible conclusion. That I hate my wife.
Oh, now, just a moment. Hate, it's a relative term. It has validity only when placed in proper perspective.
Exactly, and I repeat. Migraine headache gone. Dizziness gone. Heart palpitation gone.
Yes, but your diagnosis is an oversimplification. These physical manifestations couldn't disappear simply because you arrive at the conclusion that you hate your wife.
Oh, no. Well, I did something about it.
Now, Mr. Nelson, if you're going to tell me you've run away from your wife...
No, I didn't run away.
Well, then what did you do?
I killed her. That's right, Doctor. I killed her.
You killed Margaret? I mean, your wife? But you couldn't have.
Why do you find it so hard to believe?
Well, but no man in his right mind will kill another human being, no matter what the provocation.
A few minutes ago, you said I was an intelligent man.
You are. You were. Wait a minute. When did you say this happened?
Last night.
Last night? Uh-huh. I see. Now, surely you realize that if you have committed murder, it's only a matter of time until the police will be searching for you.
Of course.
Well, doesn't that concern you?
Not in the least.
Then if you have no intention of running or of hiding, you should give yourself up right now.
No, not yet.
Why?
We haven't finished our discussion.
Mr. Nelson, what have we to discuss? Murder as a solution to a personally untenable situation is not acceptable in the eyes of society.
At first you were startled, Doctor, and now you're giving me a lecture on the ethics and morality of murder, as if we were having a disinterested conversation on logic. Could it be that you doubt I killed her?
If you say you did, why should I doubt you?
Your reaction. Reaction is a key word in the medical and psychiatric fields, isn't it?
Yes.
Then why are you taking the murder of my wife so lightly?
I've had years of professional training. And I'm not going to panic just because a patient tells me he's committed murder.
Telling you is one thing. Your believing it is another. If you believed it, under the circumstances, I think it would ruffle your professional calm.
All right, I don't believe you. This is a mental quirk. It's an aberration. A figment of your imagination.
Is it?
You haven't committed murder. Oh, undoubtedly you wanted to, but you've substituted the desire for the fact. The pattern's perfectly clear. Now, I'm going to shock you, Mr. Nelson, because we've reached the point in your analysis where shock will be of the utmost value to you.
All right.
And then I'm going to recommend that you take legal steps to divorce your wife. Get rid of the physical cause of this fixation of yours, and eventually you'll achieve a normal mental outlook. Is that clear?
Yeah, perfectly. But not very logical.
Why not?
How can I divorce a woman who is dead?
Your wife is not dead.
Yeah, I was wondering when you'd tell me I should divorce her. It's too bad you waited so long.
No, stop it. Can't I convince you? You're imagining all this. You're playing games with your mind. Now, if you continue like this, it could lead to permanent insanity. Now, listen to what I'm going to tell you.
I'm listening.
When you walked into this office a few moments ago, I was talking on the telephone. Is that correct?
Yes.
I was talking to Margaret, your wife. She is alive, Mr. Nelson. Quite alive. Your wife is alive.
I know.
You know?
Well, perhaps I didn't know what I suspected it.
Good heavens, man, I just told you your wife is alive. I have positive personal knowledge that this is a fact. Now, doesn't that make an impression on you?
Yes, it makes an impression on me, but not in the way you think.
You still persist in this hallucination that you committed murder.
You called her Margaret.
I beg your pardon.
My wife. You called her Margaret. Now, let me ask you a question, Doctor. Do you always refer to the wives of your male patients by their first name?
Well, I used it for emphasis.
Mm-hmm. For emphasis. During the past 6 months, you have referred to her as Mrs. Nelson or your wife, but never as Margaret. Now, suddenly, for emphasis, you call her Margaret.
What are you driving at?
Your reactions are becoming less professional and considerably more human, Doctor. I'll tell you what I'm driving at. Officially, you met Margaret just once. 6 months ago, when we both came here to set up the series of appointments for me. If you remember, it was Margaret who thought psychoanalysis would help me. She's the one who selected you, and for a very good reason.
If you're insinuating...
I'm not insinuating, I'm telling you. There never has been anything wrong with me that couldn't have been remedied by an honest wife, a feeling of marital security. But she's destroyed that with your active and willing help.
You know what you're saying.
Certainly. My wife and you are lovers. You have been for months, even before I met you.
All right. Let's drop the doctor-patient relationship. Suppose I were to admit it. Suppose I asked you to get a divorce, not for psychiatric reasons, but so I could marry Margaret. Would you do it?
No. It's too late.
Why? Look, I'll admit everything you say. Margaret and I have been in love with each other for nearly a year. We thought we'd kept it a secret from you, from everyone. I honestly thought if I could take you far enough in analysis, I could get you to realize that she is not the woman for you. That you aren't and never would be really happy together.
You can't tamper with emotions this way. You're not God.
No, but I'm human.
So you are. Subject to anguish, despair, and anxiety.
Do you think I've liked this situation, that I've enjoyed it?
You've been a willing party to it.
Then let's end it right now. Let me call Margaret, ask her to come here to the office where the three of us can discuss this situation as reasonable, intelligent, adult human beings.
Go ahead.
One thing still concerns me. Why were you so insistent that you killed her?
Well, you called it playing games with my mind.
Well, that's dangerous. Possible incipient form of schizophrenia. I'll have to work with you on that. It could get you into trouble.
Depends on your definition of trouble.
Hello? Hello, Margaret. Yes. Yes, I'm still at the office. No, he's here with me. Now, Margaret, there's nothing to be alarmed about. I want you to come here right away. As soon as possible. You'll drive right over. Good. Yes, he knows. All right. Half an hour.
Intelligent, adult human beings.
You know, this is going to be good for all of us. No more dissembling or hiding our true emotions. I'm glad you came here this evening and demanded a showdown. It indicates more emotional maturity than I thought you possessed.
Doctor, do you know what I do for a living?
Yes, you're some sort of a chemist.
Yes, as a chemist. And do you know my specialty?
Something to do with foods, I believe.
That's right. If you were contemplating murder, you'd utilize the materials about which you knew the most, wouldn't you?
Oh, now, don't start that again. I'm not contemplating murder, and neither are you. Oh, I can understand why you feel as you do, but this is a phase that'll pass. When Margaret gets here, we'll talk it out, and you'll be a free man emotionally.
I am now.
Not if you persist in bringing up the subject of murder.
It's going to be a fact to you sooner than you think.
All right. If it'll make you feel better, talk about it. But Margaret is alive, and nothing you think or say can change that.
Now, I'm going to shock you. I'm quite certain I'll be more successful than you were with me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you know what botulism is?
Of course. It's a type of food poisoning.
Yes. Food poisoning caused by a toxin produced when foods are improperly canned. Or it could be introduced into foods which had never been canned at all, if one knew how to do it.
Still on the murder theme, huh?
Botulism toxin attacks the nervous system, distorts vision, causes muscular weakness. If antitoxin serum is not used, death usually follows from respiratory paralysis.
That's very ingenious, but I don't... Oh, no.
Beginning to get it, huh? Of course, you know, symptoms of botulism appear 18 to 36 hours after consumption of poisoned food.
No.
Margaret is in her 25th hour at this moment.
You fiend.
You are shocked. By the way, it would be dangerous for a person to drive an automobile when they poison my strike at any moment.
Margaret.
Put down that phone.
I've got to phone the police.
Too late for that. You're not going to call the police or anyone else.
Margaret.
How does it feel, Doctor? Apply the clinical technique. Come up with a prognosis. Do something. Make a break for the door. Reach for the gun in your desk. Try to reason with me.
I'm insane. You're utterly insane.
I'm playing God, just as you have with me for 6 months. Only it doesn't take me as long. Now I'm going to give you a prognosis, Doctor. When Margaret gets here, if she gets here, you're going to watch her die. Then I'm going to watch you die. Doctor. It doesn't appear Margaret's going to make it, does it?
Are you going to let her die just for the sake of vengeance?
Vengeance? It's a relative term, like hate. And hate is a relative term. You said so, Doctor.
But premeditated murder.
Murder is not a relative term. It's final and irrevocable. I prefer it to wife stealing and deception.
If I could only...
But you can't. What's the matter, Doctor? Having a little trouble breathing?
You poisoned me, too.
Of course.
I'll kill you. I'll kill you with my bare hands.
And now you speak of killing. Less than an hour ago, you said no man in his right mind would kill another human being, no matter what the provocation. Are you not in your right mind, Doctor?
My arms. I can't raise them.
The poison is working.
Devil.
Would you like to hear how it was done? Last night, Margaret attended a club banquet, or so she told me. But you and I know that she had drinks and hors d'oeuvres with you in your apartment, and then the two of you went out to dinner. Is that right?
Yes.
It was the hors d'oeuvres, special kind you both like so well. You keep quite a supply of them in little glass jars. It was easy for me to introduce the botulism culture while you were out. I believe someone's in the outer office.
Margaret.
She seems to be having some difficulty.
Margaret, run! Find the doctor! Margaret!
Hello, my dear. I'm sorry. I really am sorry. But not for either one of you. Respiratory paralysis, Doctor. The final stage.
You won't get away with it.
I want to thank you for calling her over, Doctor. It works out even better than I had planned it. Somebody will find the two of you in the morning. sprawled out like the last act of Romeo and Juliet, and it will all fit. Both of you dead of botulism. Poisoned by the snacks you had alone together in your apartment. Me? Nobody saw me walk in. And nobody sees me walk out. It couldn't be better. Goodbye, Doctor.
Hey, is anybody in there?
Who is it?
Police.
Police?
Did a woman come in here?
What woman, officer?
She was driving like she was drunk. Ran through 2 red lights. She came in this building.
Is that her, officer?
Yeah. What's the matter with her?
She's dead.
And him?
He's dead, too.
What do you know about this?
Enough. Enough to hang me.
Suspense, in which Jack Carson starred in William N. Robeson's production of Analytical Hour, written by Alan Botzer. Supporting Jack Carson in tonight's story were John Hoyt and Sam Pierce. Listen again next week when we return with another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. The master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
29 and a half hours ago, off San Pedro Light, 41 sleek ocean-going yachts crossed the starting line on the 21st Trans-Pacific Honolulu race. Tonight, this great blue water sports event is the scene of our story of suspense. Written by Sam Pierce, a man who should know his subject, for he is not only the official news correspondent of the race, but a member of the crew of the schooner Queen Mab. To all the contenders of the Trans-Pacific, our best wishes for good luck and good sailing, and our fervent hope that nothing happens to them as frightful as Mr. Pierce has imagined in his story.
And now, Blood is Thicker, starring Mr. Everett Sloan. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Plans go. There's a girl, Vanessa Evans. She's young, very pretty, built like you dream, and you dream from Jean-T. Dream. And most important, she's loaded with money. Left to her by her papa, who also left her oil wells, cattle ranches, and a 70-foot ocean racing schooner, which Vanessa sails with magnificent skill. The plan? Why, to marry Vanessa and her money and her yacht. You've sailed with her every weekend for the last 2 months, and now she's invited you to crew on the Honolulu race. And although your yachting experience has been limited to a few weekends on friends' boats, you've always been able to talk a good game, and with as willing a listener as Vanessa, who could steer a wrong course, as they say in yachting circles. So now it's the day of the start, and as you swing jauntily aboard the sleek 70-footer, your spirits are soaring. You feel every inch the gentleman sailor your carefully selected wardrobe makes you look.
Well, welcome aboard, Mr. Farley.
Thank you, Captain.
Morning, Mike.
Vanessa, boy, don't you look wonderful.
Thank you, sir, she said.
Hi, Skipper. Mike.
We can take off any time now. Doc's aboard.
We all here, Vanessa? Crew complete?
We're all here, Mike. But there's been a little change in personnel. Charlie Edmonds had his appendix taken out night before last.
No kidding.
So I've asked my cousin, Hugh Guthrie, to sail with us in his place. I'd like you to meet him. Hugh, this is Mike Farley, my cousin Hugh Guthrie.
Oh, very glad to know you, Mike. Thank you. Vanessa was telling me you've done quite a bit of sailing on the East Coast. I thought perhaps we might... I made the Bermuda races a couple of times. Ah, fine race. What boat? The Quintana. Quintana?
Mike raced on her in 1952, the year she won.
Yes. You done much sailing, Hugh? I used to sail a good deal with Vanessa's father.
He was one of my smarter type cousins. He handled all of Dad's business affairs. He handles them for me now.
Oh, I see. You from out here?
Oh, no. I tend store back in New York.
You flew all the way out just to make the race with us.
I was glad to find an excuse to get away for a while. And who could ask for anything nicer than sailing with a first-class skipper like Vanessa again, particularly on a boat like the Segway?
You've sailed on the Segway before?
Segura.
Oh.
He knows her like a book.
Well, that's a relief to me. Charlie and I were teamed up as watch partners. We would have worked the foredeck and the pulpit, and that's no place for a greenhorn.
You may have to bring me up to date on a few things up there, but I think I'll remember most of the rig.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
Excuse me, Miss Evans, but the crew are all present. All the gear is stowed. I wondered if you'd like to be getting underway pretty soon.
Thank you, Pete. I think we can go any time now.
Yeah, fine. Stand by to let go of the lines. Max, you take the spring line. All right. Miss Farley, you're stationed forward. You can let go of the starboard bow line.
Okay, Pete.
And Mr. Guthrie, you're forward with Mr. Farley.
You watch Vanessa as she backs the Segway out of the slip into the channel, and you can't help wishing that Charlie Edmonds was your watchmate instead of Vanessa's kissing cousin, Hugh Guthrie. Breakwater now, beating slowly to windward. The breeze is fresh, even in the lee of Point Furman, and your uneasiness about your plan and the complications Vanessa's cousin Hugh might present fade out in the anticipation of the most exciting of all moments, the start. 45 trim ocean racing yachts of all sizes and rigs, white hulled, black hulled, mahogany hulled, knifing through the long, gentle swells of the Catalina Channel, maneuvering with a skill that is born to blue water sailors. Aboard the Segway, with Vanessa Evans' slim, strong hands almost caressing the wheel, you know the excitement. Share it with every other sailor on every other boat as the seconds tick away and the navigator's voice continues the countdown.
Stand by to get the fishermen up as we cross the line.
Standing by. 5. Flag to the air. 3, 2... I would have thought your father was at the wheel.
Thank you, Pete.
Beautiful job, Vanessa. I don't think you had more than 2 seconds to spare.
I thought for a minute we were going over the line too soon. I was scared, Mike, really scared.
Oh, you handled it like a master. And we're doing great. Look, I don't think there's more than 2 boats ahead of us, maybe 3.
Well, that cutter isn't going to wait for us, though. You'll weather us all the way to the west end of Catalina.
But once we get around, we can really put some sail on, see what she can do.
And we're pointing higher than that ketch over there. Leading her, too.
The ketch?
Yeah, right over there to starboard.
Oh, the yawl.
No, she's a... Oh, yes, of course, she's a yawl.
Unless, of course, they've changed things around off your west.
No, she's a yawl. It's just sort of a mental block I have. Never can remember which is which. It's easy enough mistake to make.
For a blue water sailor? Oh, come now, Mr. Farley.
You look at Vanessa, and she's looking intently at the compass, avoiding your eyes. And you look at Hugh Guthrie, and he doesn't avoid your eyes. And you know that you made your first bad mistake. And he knows it, too. You've been at sea for 3 days, and so far you haven't made any more mistakes. But you know that Vanessa's cousin Hugh hasn't forgotten your slip. You know he's watching and waiting for you to make another one. And you're certain that next time he won't let it go. Not this boy. But there are moments aboard the Segway, rare but wonderful moments when you're alone with Vanessa out on the pulpit, a tiny fenced-in platform on the forward tip of the bowsprit, with nothing but the sound of the wind and the bow wave.
She's beautiful from out here, isn't she, Mike?
Beautiful from anywhere, like her skipper.
Mike, if I ask you something, will you get angry?
Of course not, darling. I couldn't be angry with you.
It's about you and Hugh.
What about you and me?
Well, I don't know what it is, Mike, but from the very first day of the race, you've been standing off watching each other. There's something between you. What is it, Mike? What's happened?
Well, as a matter of fact, Vanessa, I've felt it too.
Mike, you don't like him, do you?
Well, I don't dislike him.
I don't think he likes you, Mike. He's been pumping me about you, about your parents, where you were raised, what boats you've sailed on.
Well, I'm flattered by his interest, but why is he so concerned with me?
Because he's my guardian, Mike.
His guardian? Why, he's only a couple of years older than you are.
I told you he was one of my smaller type cousins. Daddy liked him. Wanted it that way.
So, he controls your money?
He controls everything Dad left for me.
And your house, Vanessa?
I control that, Mike.
Well, then, why are we talking about things that don't matter? Who cares about your money? Let old cousin Hugh have it if he wants it. Who cares about anything but us, Vanessa? Us, that's all that matters.
Mike.
Look, I don't care what happens as long as we have each other.
Oh, my darling.
You stay out on the pulpit after Vanessa leaves, and you try to digest this new and unpleasant piece of news. So Cousin Hugh is Vanessa's guardian, her legal guardian. And you think of what a little thing loused up your plan. Just poor old Charlie's opinion. And you begin to hate Charlie, to wish he were dead. Or, wait a minute. Why Charlie? Why not Cousin Hugh? You and he share the midnight to 4 a.m. watch out here on the pulpit every morning. Sailors have gone overboard before. Out here at night, in the dark. A quick push. An accident. An unfortunate, terrible accident. It's the only way out. You know you have to do it. The only question is when. Black enough. And 7 days out, midway between San Pedro and Honolulu, the right time comes. With the wind blowing 20 to 25 knots and the sea coming at you in long rolling swells, the top blowing off, feathering into the night, the bow of the Segway seems like a giant bucking bronco, lifting high only to plunge back in, open and all, down into the black, angry water. You and Hugh are wearing your flotation gear. Small but efficient life jackets that inflate when you squeeze the handle of the CO2 bottle. But you know that Hugh will not stay afloat once he's over the side. You removed the little steel air bottle while Hugh was eating dinner, and in its place you inserted an empty one. And one thing more. You fixed the lifeline fastener on the pulpit so it's ready to be opened at the right time to provide a convenient exit for Cousin Hugh. A broken fastener on the lifeline, they'll say. An accident. An unfortunate accident. So now you're out here on the pulpit with you and you're ready. But before you do anything, you have to know how much he knows about it. You have to. It's almost a compulsion. I had quite an interesting talk with Vanessa the other day.
Is that so?
Yes. We talked about a lot of things. Mostly about you.
Really?
She said she didn't think you liked me very much.
Well, I may have given her that impression.
You said you'd been asking a lot of personal questions about me.
That's right, I did ask some questions.
Why?
Because I don't believe a word you say.
Just because I made a few small mistakes, like calling a yawl a cat?
Oh, the business of the yawl really had very little to do with it. There were so many other things. For instance, Well, for instance, you're sailing as a crew member on the Quintana in the Bermuda race of 1952. It was a year you sailed on it, wasn't it?
That's correct.
Well, despite the amazingly factual quality of your story, you were not on the Quintana in 1952.
You can prove that, of course.
Quite simply. You're a good student, Farley. You've obviously done a lot of reading on ocean racing. But you made a mistake in the Quintana story, and a rather bad mistake. You mentioned the names of the crew, but you left out the name of Hugh Guthrie. If you sailed aboard her, how come you left that one name out?
Because you weren't on the Quintana.
Correction. I seem to have a knack for being a last-minute replacement. On this race, it was poor old Charlie Edmonds. On the Bermuda race of 1952, it was a lad by the name of Kirby Meston.
He was on the Quintana. It was printed
in the official crew list, yes, but he was not aboard. He broke his leg on the very morning of the start. And I, lucky Johnny on the spot, happened to be there to see an old friend off who happened to be the skipper of the Quintana. I replaced Kirby Meston.
That's impossible.
Harley, you're a bit of a liar. And I don't trust liars. Particularly when they're moving in on someone very dear to me. Vanessa. Oh, yes. So now he's out.
I thought you were offering it to see your little cousin's future happiness. In fact, I warned Vanessa about you. You don't want me to marry her because you want her for yourself.
All right, Polly, let's stop the nonsense. You're a cheap phony, and I'm going to tell Vanessa the truth about you.
You won't tell her anything because you're not going anywhere except over the front.
I don't think so.
You're going over now, right now.
You're a phony, Mr. Polly. A phony.
No! No! As you lunge for him, a giant wave smashes over the poker, burying you in tons of water. You grab for the lifeline as you start over, but the fastener you ducked is carried away, and you feel a sharp, tearing pain as the hook-like end of it rips through your hand. And then you're alone in the water, watching the Segway as she rushes on into the night. You inflate your life vest, and it works. And then you see off in the distance the spreader and deck lights come on, and you hear the voices, hurried, frantic, as they get the sails down and try to bring the Segway around. And you know your plan is finished. But you're alive. And that's all that matters now. You're alive. And they're coming back to pick you up. And then there's something between you and the lights on the Segway. A triangular blue-gray city, cruising slowly, almost indifferently, slicing through the black water a scant 10 feet away from you. And you suddenly remember the recent stories in all the newspapers of killer sharks and what they can do to a swimmer. And you lie very still. That's what they said to do. And you watch. And the thing cruises away. And you start to breathe again. And then it circles. Seems to flutter in the water. And pick up speed. And you raise your hand in a futile gesture to ward it off. And you suddenly know you're not going to make it. Your hand, sliced to the bone from the hook on the lifeline, is bleeding. And you remember that sharks are attracted to blood. It's the thing that makes them attack. And you open your mouth to cry out. And the cry never comes. Because you're pulled down through the blue-black water. And something has you in a vise of razor-sharp teeth. And then you do scream. With the last breath you have. And no one hears you. Or ever will.
Suspense, in which Mr. Everett Sloane starred in William N. Robeson's production of Blood is Thicker, written by Sam Pierce. Supporting Mr. Everett Sloane in tonight's story were Kathy Lewis, Lawrence Dobkin, Bill Quinn, and Sam Pierce. Listen. Listen again next week when we return with Mr. John Lund, starring in Eyewitness. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Eyewitness, starring Mr. John Lund. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
got the assignment because you'd never been in jail. A fresh point of view on the state prison, the editor said. Not an expose, nothing sensational. Just a Sunday feature story of the average citizen's reaction to the stone walls and iron bars of a big penitentiary. Oh, it's a depressing tour, and you've had enough. But the captain of the guard has one more point of interest for you.
Here's something you ought to see before you go, Mr. Kelly.
Yeah, what's that?
Your old block, built more than 100 years ago. This is where we keep the bad ones.
The bad ones?
Yeah, in solitary. The tough guys, the deviants. Softens them up fast, most of them.
You stop in front of the heavy steel door, but no guard peers through the bulletproof glass peephole. The door is not instantly unlocked, as the others had been.
That's funny. Should be a man on the door at all times. Oh, there he is. Go ahead on in, Mr. Kelly.
You walk in. The door clangs behind you. And then you feel something sharp.
All right,
your
both of
back.
you, stay where you are.
Hey, what is this?
If you make one move, Wolf, I'll drive this shiv straight through your gut. Frisk him, Joe.
Yeah, here's his trap.
Good.
Here's his gun.
Good, we can use him.
This one's clean. He's an outsider.
You can't get away with this.
We can't, huh? We have. I'm happy to report, Captain Wolf, that the old cell block is completely in control of its 32 inmates.
Listen, you're asking for trouble, Mr. Kelly. Here's from the Capital News Telegram.
Oh, a journalist. Oh, the name, Mr. Kelly, is J. Conrad Allen. That's spelled with one L, Mr. Kelly. Whether I end up alive, life, or a dead hero, be sure, Mr. Kelly, to spell it with one L.
I'll try to remember
Hey,
that.
Conrad, what do you want me to do with these two? Lock them up with the guards?
Not yet. I'll need Captain Wolf's cooperation.
You won't get it.
Would you like to bet on that? How about you, Mr. Kelly? Are you going to cooperate?
Well, I don't know.
Now, we'll see. All right, men, listen to me. Now, here's where we stand. We got Limpy to thank for this. He pretended to be sick and got that greenhorn guard to open his cell. He conned the guard, locked him in his cell, and let Big Joe and me out. We took care of the rest of the guards. They're all locked up in cell number 3. Wait a minute. That's not all. Just after we got them locked up, who should walk in but our old friend, the captain of the yard, Lord Tub Wolf. Now, wait a minute. We also have another guest, Mr. Kelly of the Capital News Telegram.
He ain't no good, though.
Don't be so sure about that. We're going to get plenty out of this. Stick with me, I'll show you. First, they don't know anything's happened yet. So let's tell them. Get on the telephone, Captain Wolf, and call the warden.
I will.
What did you say? It is sharp, isn't it, Lord?
Now, get on the phone. Tell the warden where you are and what's happened. Tell him to send over our supper just the same, and to wait for further instructions. Here, I'll dial it. And I'll talk.
The warden speaking?
This is Captain Wolf, Warden.
Yes, Wolf.
Warden, I'm talking from the old cell block. The cons have taken it over.
What?
They got me and McGuire and that new kid and Feeney. Oh, yeah, and Mr. Kelly. Now, Warden, if I was you,
I'm giving the advice around here. Give me that phone. Stop whimpering. Joe only stuck you a little bit. Lock him up at cell 3, Joe.
Okay, Conrad. Come on, you.
Hello, Warden.
What have you done to Captain Wolf?
Don't worry, Warden. We just drew a little blood. Now, get this.
Who is this speaking?
J. Conrad Allen.
Allen, oh. Number 6720.
No, Warden. J. Conrad Allen is the name.
What do you want?
Plenty. We don't want any funny business from you.
Now, look here.
No, you look here, Warden. Just sit tight until you hear from me again. But don't forget to send supper over as usual.
I will not.
Okay, Warden, okay. Don't send the supper then. But you'd better send a stretcher. Because we're just about to beat up a guard.
Did you have to do it?
What?
Beat up off that guard.
Of course.
But why?
Force. That's the only thing they understand. The guards, the warden. That's the way they treat us. You don't have to do anything. You just have to have a guard down on you, and it can mean 3 days in a straitjacket. Get in a real rhubarb, and you can go to the dungeon for anywhere from a week to a month.
The dungeon?
Yeah. Down in the cellar of this block. The cells are 5 foot long, 5 feet high, and 3 foot wide. You can't lie down and you can't stand up. And there's no light. It's not a pretty place, Mr. Kelly. See what I mean?
I'm beginning to.
Okay, Mr. Kelly, it's your story.
What do you mean?
Mr. Kelly, for a newspaper man, you amaze me. It's your story. Eyewitness.
You're gonna let me out?
Oh, no, indeed, we need you.
Well, then how can I...
Phone it in. When's the morning edition go to press?
The Bulldog is put to bed at 8:15.
Right. You got a little more than an hour. Can you make it?
Sure. If I can get a call through.
You'll get a call through.
Hello?
Outside line, please.
What?
You heard me, Warden. Tell the operator to give us an outside
What
line.
are you
Mr.
trying-
Kelly wants to file a story.
Oh, no. No story goes out of here without my okay.
Now? I bet you're holding a press conference in your office right now, aren't you? Well, so am I. Mr. Kelly wants to file a story.
I will not.
How's Sweeney, Warden? Resting easy? Who do you want next? McGuire? Or the green kid who opened the first cell? Name him. We'll deliver him to you in pieces.
Look, Alan. Don't you realize if you don't give up, you'll spend the rest of your lives right where you are in the old block?
Okay, Big Joe, go to work on the next goon.
No, wait a minute. You can't. It's inhuman.
I suppose the dungeon isn't.
No, but you can't.
Get me that outside line, Warden.
You give me your word you won't harm that man?
I give you my word. For now. Get me the line.
What number do you want?
Get me the Capital News telegram.
The managing editor.
Person to person to the managing editor, Mr. Wiley Brooks.
How did you know?
And then make it snappy.
How did you know the ME's name?
I've been around some, Mr. Kelly. Now, I needn't warn you, I suppose, not to double-cross us.
How could I?
I don't know. But just don't. You saw what happened to Feeney.
Yeah, I saw. But I have to include that in my story.
I want you to. It happened. We're not ashamed of it. And here, you'll want to include this.
What is it?
A list of demands. I want to get that in. I want the warden to see that in print. And the prison board. And the governor.
News telegram. Brooks speaking.
Hello, Wiley. This is Conrad Allen.
Conrad, I thought you were in prison.
I am.
Oh, then what's going on up there? We got a flash there was some trouble up there.
There is.
We got a man up there, but we haven't heard from him.
You will.
So what are you talking about?
Wiley, I've never forgotten what you did for me during my trial.
Well, I knew you were framed, and after all, you were the best City Hall reporter I ever had.
Well, thank you. Told you I'd return the favor someday. I got an eyewitness story for you on the mutiny in the old cell block.
Well, let's have it.
Well, you know me, Wiley. I never was very good phoning a story in. I think better at a typewriter. So I'll turn you over to your Mr. Kelly.
Is Bob there?
Yeah, he's one of our hostages.
What are you, what?
Take it from here, Mr. Kelly.
Hello, Wiley.
What are you doing up there, Bob?
I'll fill you in when I get out of here, if I get out. Right now, here's the story. You ready?
Yeah, ready.
At 3:43 this afternoon in the old cell block at State Prison, John J. You dictate the story as fast as you can, including the mutineers' list of demands. Well, that winds it up as of this minute, Wiley.
Wait a minute. I got something to add.
Oh, just a minute. Conrad Allen. That's spelled with one L.
I know.
He wants to add something.
Hello, Wiley.
Yeah, Conrad.
I got 3 guards left. Your bulldog still hits the streets at 10 p.m., doesn't it?
That's right.
If they don't meet our demands by midnight, we beat up a guard. The next one goes at 4 a.m. The last one at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. You can print that.
Yeah, okay, Conrad. But listen, let Bob Kelly out of there, will you? I need him on this story.
Wiley, he's on the story. And we need him. If they don't give in by 8 a.m. when I run out of guards, I'll need your Mr. Kelly very badly.
Conrad's midnight deadline approaches. The hands creep toward 12. They meet, point upward. 10 seconds pass. 15. Nothing happens. Then Conrad reaches for the phone.
Okay, boys. Who's next? How about McGuire, the blackjack specialist? Use his own on him.
Okay.
Warden speaking.
Send a stretcher, Warden. McGuire will be ready for you in 5 minutes.
Here's your answer, Alan.
Hey, the lights! Hey, somebody turned off the lights.
That's the way he wants it.
What word do you want to use? Pandemonium, chaos, anarchy? They all fit. While the screaming guard is beaten into unconsciousness, the roaring men break apart the wooden furniture, dump the cots over the balconies, rip open the mattresses, and build a fire in the middle of the cell block. And at last, after the guard has been dumped into the yard and carried away, their anger subsides into sullen silence. 4 more hours drag by. And at last, Conrad's next deadline arrives.
Ready to give in, Warden?
You thirsty, Alan?
What do you mean?
You will be.
The crummy. Hey, Lippy.
Yeah?
Turn on the water tap in your cell.
Huh?
Turn it on.
Hey, just a trickle. It stopped.
Figures.
Hey, Conrad, something's going on outside.
What is it?
Oh, I can't tell. It sounds like digging out and back.
Can't you see?
You kidding? We ain't got no lights. Remember, the yard lights are out.
Time to throw them another bone.
Now, which one this time?
How about the greenhorn kid?
Hey, he's the one who let me out.
He's a guard, isn't he? Go to work on him.
So the greenhorn kid gets his and is dumped into the yard. You sit and wait in the darkness until gray light spreads over the gray walls and through the tiny windows, turning the blackness of the block into a lighter black. And at last, it's 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, boys, this is our deadline.
Let's do something. Wait on it for.
What the?
What's the matter, Conrad?
The phone, kid. They cut off the phone.
Conrad, we got no lights, no water, no phone, no food. What are we going to do?
Well, boys, how'd you like a little exercise?
Huh?
Big Joe?
Yeah.
Unlock the alarm up.
Give them to me.
Now, boys, with lots of wolves, it's going to be different. Everybody gets a try. Because everybody's got unfinished business with the top, isn't that right?
Good old Lord Tub. I got an idea he might quit his job.
After he's able to walk again.
Hey, Conrad, I just thought of something.
What's that?
What are we going to do next?
Nothing. It's their move.
Yeah? We ain't got any more guards to beat up.
That's right. But we still got Mr. Kelly.
Your heart stops beating for a long instant as the wild, bloodshot eyes of 32 desperate men center on you. You don't know how long you sit there across the table from Conrad. Time has stopped. You wait. Conrad waits. The men wait in silent little groups. You wait for the next move, the warden's move. And at last it comes.
You men in the old cell block.
What's that? They just pull a loudspeaker truck into the yard.
Where?
You hear me?
Oh, yeah. I'll break out this window. Yeah, Warden, I hear you.
I'm not talking to you, Alan.
I'm doing the talking for the guys.
I'm talking to all of you men. I have just come from a meeting with the governor. We are in agreement. We will not permit the authority of this state to be bullied by a tiny group of men who haven't even the rights of citizens.
Make it simple, Warden. You're turning us down?
I'm willing to discuss your grievances with you, but I will not be forced to give in your demands. That's final. Now, men, I urge you, come out of that piece of wheat, and we'll see what can be done for you.
Thanks a lot for nothing, Warden. We'll sit tight.
Men, don't listen to Alan. He must be crazy to keep you there, and I think he is keeping you there. You listen to me. I've cut off your lights, your water, your someone.
You're bluffing.
You think so, Allen? During the night, we planted dynamite all around the building.
Hey, Conrad, you remember I said I heard noises out there during the night?
Listen. Don't listen to Allen. Listen to me. You've got 12 and a half minutes to make up your minds.
You're forgetting something, Warden. We've still got the newspaper reporter in here, Mr. Kelly.
I can't be responsible for him. I've got all my guards out. I won't bargain any further. There's just a little bit more than 12 minutes. So you take it over, boys.
Well, Kelly, looks like you aren't as valuable as I thought you would be.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Well, we're licked. We've got to give in. Give in and lose everything? Do you realize that in this state they can give us all life for what we've done? Me, I'd rather get blown up than spend the rest of my life in this hole.
No, Conrad, no. No, please, you got to get us out.
Yeah, it's all your fault, you little punk.
What do you mean, my fault?
If you hadn't conked that greenhorn guard yesterday just because you wanted to make up to Conrad, we wouldn't be in this fix.
Lay off the kid.
Why, you little jerk, are you going to...
I said lay off the kid.
You made a lot of mistakes, Conrad. But this is one too many. You had a ball ordering us around, promising us you'd mastermind us out of here. And where you got us? 5 minutes from Kingdom Come.
The warden's only bluffing. He wouldn't dare blow us up. I'll get you all out of this.
No, Con, I'm not waiting 5 minutes to find out if he's bluffing. I said you made a lot of mistakes, and the biggest one was passing out the guards' guns, remember? No. Stand where you are. I'm taking over now.
Why,
Don't move, Con.
Are you stinking little...
Less than 5 minutes, boys. I'm going out. Anybody joining me?
Now, Mr. Kelly, I feel that I must apologize to you for the inconvenience and the discomfort you've suffered. That, Warden, is the understatement of the year. Now, of course, you clear any stories you write about this situation through me. I doubt it. Oh, we can't permit you a free hand. I'm going to report it just as it happened. And when I get through, I don't think that J. Conrad Allen, spelled with one L, mixed up and twisted though his values may have been, well, I don't think he'll have died in vain.
Suspense. And the producer of CBS Radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
Each year, thousands of short stories roll out from a multitude of typewriters and march across the pages of our magazines and books toward well-deserved oblivion. Few are memorable, fewer still are classics. They pass the time and are forgotten even before the paper in which they are written is reduced to blackened ash. But occasionally a story is written that is a true classic, an unforgettable tale. Listen to such a one now. Listen as Vincent Price stars in Ambrose Bierce's weird and wonderful story of the Civil War, Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge.
And now, Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, starring Mr. Vincent Price. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
A man stood upon a railroad bridge in northern Alabama, looking down through the ties at the swift water 20 feet below. The man's hands were behind his back, the wrists bound with a cord. A rope closely encircled his neck. It was attached to a stout cross timber above his head.
If I could free my hands, I might throw off this noose and dive into the creek. If I swam underwater, I would be safe from their bullets. If my wind held out, I could make the southern bank, take to the woods, and get away home.
Peyton Farquhar, Alabama planter, stood at the end of a plank. A captain of the Union Army and a sergeant stood at the other end. When they step aside, the plank will tip upward, and Peyton Farquhar, Confederate spy, will slip between the ties to hang until dead above the muddy water of Owl Creek. The captain steps aside, draws his sword, flourishes it to a carry, sings out a command. Men on the bank smartly spread their legs, thrust hands forward over their rifle barrels. The sergeant on the end of the plank takes one step to the left. The plank tips forward, and Peyton Farquhar drops between the timbers of Owl Creek Bridge.
It takes longer to tell it. As you drop downward, you lose consciousness. You are as one already dead. Then you awaken sharply in pain to feel, not to think, just to feel. The cutting pressure on your throat, the agonies of pulsating fire shooting from your neck downward. To feel the fullness, the congestion, the head bursting with suffocation. Distantly beyond, outside of yourself, you hear a splash. Remotely, you sense cool, wet, green darkness. The rope is broken. You've fallen into the street. Come, Peyton, they can't lick you. The knot's given. Again, now try once more. There. That does it. You must breathe when you come to the surface. You must breathe quickly. For if they haven't hanged you and they fail to drown you, you can't let them shoot you. And now a deep breath. You dive deeply, but above the ringing in your ears, you hear the volley of rifles. And as you rise towards the surface, you meet shining bits of metal, singularly flattened, the distorted and spent bullets oscillating slowly downward past you. One catches in your collar, and it feels uncomfortably warm. You snatch it out, and this gray piece of Yankee lead reminds you of the gray uniform on the soldier who is responsible for you being here. It was only night before last when the soldier had ridden up the driveway as you and your wife sat under the magnolia trees in the cool twilight.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Corporal. Won't you dismount?
Thanks. Yeah. I wonder if I might trouble you for a glass of water.
Why, of
Don't
course.
disturb yourself, Peyton. I'll go fetch it.
You're most kind, ma'am. If you'll indicate the well.
Nonsense. You just sit a spell with my husband. You look as if you could do with some rest.
Yes, ma'am. Reckon I could.
I'll be back in a jiffy.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, Corporal, whose command are you with, huh?
Colonel Tolliver, sir. 13th North Carolina.
Yeah, we get so little news down here. How are things going at the front?
Not good, sir. The damn Yankees are getting ready for another advance. They're repairing the railroad. Got it in shape almost to Owl Creek Bridge. And they got outposts there. Once they can run trains beyond the bridge, there's nothing to stop them between here and Atlanta.
Well, then why hasn't the bridge been destroyed?
The military couldn't get near it. A civilian might.
Owl Creek Bridge, huh? Well, that's not far from here, is it?
Less than 20 miles.
That bridge is important.
Sure is.
What if it were destroyed?
Hold up the Yankees for several weeks.
Suppose a man, a civilian like myself, should elude the picket post. What could he accomplish?
Well, I was there a week ago, just before we had to pull out. There's a heap of driftwood come down in last winter's flood, caught on the trestle at this end. Look, and set fire to it. It ought to burn like tow.
Yes, it should.
Here's your water, Corporal. Right out of the spring house.
Thank you kindly, ma'am. My, it's cool and nice. Well, I reckon I better hit the leather. I got a lot of riding ahead of me tonight.
Well, good luck to you, Corporal, and thank you for the information.
You'd be taking a chance, sir, but you couldn't do a greater service for your country.
I'll remember that, Corporal.
Bye, ma'am. Bye, sir. Many thanks.
Break the surface of Owl Creek for a second time. And now you are much further downstream, further away from the Union soldiers on the bridge reloading their guns, the ramrods flashing in the morning sun. And then something seems to grab you and you're whirled round and round, spinning like a waterlogged top. You're caught in a vortex, a whirlpool. The water, the banks, the distant bridge, the soldiers become indistinct blurs. You're helpless. You feel dizzy and sick to your stomach. Just as you felt last night when you crept up the bank toward the lone sentinel at the south end of the bridge and discovered that the sentinel was not alone.
There he is, boys. I got him, Sergeant.
Well, Mr. Peyton Farquhar, we've been expecting you.
How did you know my name?
We got ways.
But look here. I'm a civilian. I was just...
Save your breath. Thank your maker we didn't shoot you in the back. We don't do things like that up north. You'll get a trial, everything fair and square. Bring him along, men. Here he is, Captain. Right on schedule.
Good work, Sergeant. This the man, Lieutenant?
That's him.
Why, you're the corporal who stopped at my plantation last night.
That's right, Mr. Farquhar. But not of the 13th North Carolina Volunteers.
Mr. Farquhar, this is Lieutenant Saltonstall, Intelligence Officer, 5th Massachusetts Regulars.
You've trapped me. You deliberately led me into a trap. I'm a civilian, a planter.
And also a Southern patriot. Caught in the act of sabotage.
You can't prove it.
We don't have to.
But why have you done this? Why have you deliberately trapped me?
It's so much easier to eliminate civilian resistance by luring it into the open. You fell for the bait. Too bad.
Now, look here. It is my constitutional right.
Which Constitution? Constitution of the United States of America or Jeff Davis?
You insulting wretch.
Remember your manners, sir.
I demand a trial.
You've just had it. Post a guard over him, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
We'll hang him in the morning.
They didn't hang. The rope broke and the whirlpool carried you away, and now you realize that the wind is stopped. You open your eyes. You are lying on the southern bank of the stream, out of the sight of your enemies. And you leap to your feet and run into the woods south toward home. It's nearly noon now, and for a half hour you've been plunging through a swamp waist deep in green ooze. Your neck hurts constantly, your head throbs, and your tongue is thick. Gnats swarm before your eyes and catch in your eyelids. Mosquitoes buzz in your ears, drill deep into your hands and your swollen neck. You can't go on any longer. You slow down and you stop. You reach toward a palmetto root for support, and it slithers from your grasp and slides softly into the water. Water moccasin. Fear finds you at last. Terror, which stood aloof when you fled the executioner's bullets, now embraces you with clammy unction. Water moccasin. And now each branch and root seems to writhe under your glance. The swamp is undulating with certain death. You plunge on through the dark, stinking ooze, on and on, tripping, stumbling, but never stopping. The terror rides your back, flogging you with a whiplash of fear.
Farquhar fit as a fiddle in jig time. Now, you just drink this here your tea, Master Farquhar.
Oh, thank you. Jethro.
Yes, sir, Master Farquhar.
What are you doing here?
I live here.
You live? Where am I? What happened?
Well, I was pulling my dugout and coming home through the swamp with a mess of catfish, and I sees you lying out there on the bank in front of my cabin.
Jethro, I heard. I thought you were dead.
Who, me? Dead?
Of course you thought Jethro was dead. You knew he had consumption when you sold him. You knew he couldn't last long and he wasn't earning his keep. His wife and his daughter had carried on some at first, but after a while they calmed down, and last you heard, Jethro was dead.
You thought I was dead, Master Farquhar? Why, sir, don't you know what done happened to me? I'm free. I'm free at last. Yes, sir, I'm free. And I expect pretty soon my woman and my little girl are going to come along and join me. How is they, Master Farquhar? Is they well?
Oh, yes, indeed. They're both fine, Jethro. Jethro, I don't know how to say this, but I really was sorry about having to tell you. But there wasn't anything else.
Oh, I understand, Master Farquhar. Don't you pay it no mind. I done forgive you long ago. Don't the Lord tell us to forgive those who trespass against us? And don't the Lord promise us we shall be free? Don't you worry none about it, my Farquhar. Hey, here now. Quiet there, Spot. Quiet, sugar. They must have had a razorback in the brush. No, ain't no hog at all. Look, my Farquhar. There's a horse coming down the back road. Why, I swear it's a soldier. It's one of our soldiers, too. Corporal look like.
Jethro, you've got to hide me.
Well, why does I got to hide you, Mouse Farquhar?
Don't ask so many questions, you insolent.
Mouse Farquhar, you forget I'm free now.
Oh, yes. Yes, well, then as an old friend, Jethro, please just hide me and don't tell that soldier anything.
Why, sure. I reckon I can do that for old friend Mouse Farquhar. Here, you get on under this bed here, and I'll cut the covers over the sides for you. There.
Hey there, Uncle. Seen any strangers around here?
Have you come this far just to be turned in by a wool-gathering black who talks crazy? If Jethro knew this gray-clad corporal was really a Union lieutenant, he'd guarantee his freedom by turning you in. Unless, of course, he's planning to dispose of you himself. Yes, that's it. He's going to do you in himself.
Mind in your own business, Uncle. You'll live longer. Get up.
Y'all can come on out now, Mouse Farquhar.
Thank you.
Lord, I declare I don't understand none of this. You says not to tell him you're here, and he says not to tell you he's been here. Now, what's this all about, Mouse Farquhar?
Nothing, Jethro, nothing. I owe the man some money, and I'm not ready to pay it yet.
Oh, I see. I wouldn't know nothing about that. Money is something ain't never bothered me like it bothers some. Money and me's always been strangers.
Jethro, what are you going to do with that knife?
Huh? Oh, I was just fixing to slit up some of them catfish I got in my dugout. Look like you could do with a little food, Mouse Farquhar.
No, thank you, Jethro. I want to get home by sundown. If you'll just tell me which way I should go.
Well, I don't rightly know, Mouse Farquhar. But I reckon from the way the sun's reclining, it'd be down the road that way. Quite a far piece down.
Yes, that should be about right.
I never been back, you know. Never tried to go back since I've been free.
Yes, I know.
Reckon it won't be long till my woman and my little one comes here to me.
Of course. Yes.
If you get back, Mouse Farquhar, if you see them, you tell them I'm here waiting for them.
Yes, I'll do that, Jethro. I'll do that. Shells of the back road crunching under your muddy boots. That grinning savage standing in the doorway of the shack, the knife in his hand. At each moment until the road bends and cuts off the cabin from view, you fear he'll come after you, the knife poised to plunge you in the back, to pay you for the thrust you gave him when you sent him away to die. But he's still standing there, grinning foolishly and waving as you turn the bend. How long have you been running down this endless road? It's dark now. Is it night? Or has the blood trapped in your head by that suffocating rope at last burst into your congested eyeballs and blinded you? No. The darkness is only the black of a sudden summer storm. That lightning flash clearly shows the white road ahead and the black silhouettes of trees along the side. Another flash of lightning directly overhead. For an instant, she seemed to see the soldiers of Owl Creek Bridge standing at the side of the road, rifles leveled, their eyes boring down the sights, aiming at your heart. Again, you're running, and the rain has turned to hail. Pellets as big as hominy beat down on you, pound your swollen, bruised neck, hammer on your countless cuts. Again, the light. And on the other side of the road, the gray-clad corporal sits astride his horse, waiting for you. No, you can't get me now. No! This bolt of lightning strikes a tree ahead of you, and in the white, blinding light stands Jethro, black and grinning, knife raised in the air. No, Jethro, forgive me! He's gone. And now you see dangling from each tree along the road a noose swinging in the wind. Wherever you turn, wherever you look, a noose waiting for you. A noose which wriggles like a water moccasin. No! You were standing on the green lawn of your plantation before the high columned entrance. The storm The clouds are black and menacing all around the horizon, but through a break in the sky overhead, glorious sunlight streams down, bathing your garden and your house in heavenly light. You are home. Now you hear a rustle of crinoline, and down from the wide portico steps your beloved wife. She runs across the lawn, arms outstretched.
Peyton, my dear, you're back, just as you promised you'd be.
For this moment you have endured the agonies of this day. And were those agonies multiplied 1,000 times, they would be small price for the benison of this breast, the sanctuary of these arms, the security of these lips. You step forward to fold your wife in your embrace.
The rope stretched tight, sang like a bowstring. Peyton Farquhar was dead. His body, with a broken neck, swung gently from side to side beneath the timbers of Owl Creek Bridge.
Suspense, in which Mr. Vincent Price starred in William N. Robeson's production of Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, adapted for radio by Mr. Robeson from a story by Ambrose Bierce. Supporting Mr. Vincent Price in tonight's story were Kathy Lewis, Barney Phillips, Sam Pierce, Roy Glenn, Norm Alden, and Sam Edwards. Listen again next week when we return with Miss Marcia Hunt starring in Nightman. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
The latest news follows, then Have Gun will travel on CBS Radio.